Welcome to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Touchdown, Braylon Edwards.
Braylon Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Running pattern to Edwards, touchdown, Michigan.
Where we bring you the best in sports, entertainment, and insight. Join us every weekday from 2 to 4 p.m. as we break down the latest games, analyze the biggest plays, and dive into the hottest topics in sports. We'll have exclusive interviews with your favorite athletes and guests, and you'll get a front row seat to all the action. So tune in to the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Got one-on-one going end zone. Edwards in the air. Oh, what a catch by Braylon Edwards. His second touchdown of the game.
On the Woodward Sports Network, where sports comes to life.
We could call this a wide receiver Wednesday, couldn't we? A wide receiver Wednesday, because we're going to talk about the latest drop and the best wide receivers in the National Football League. He's one of the best wide receivers you ever saw, high school, collegiate, and for parts of his NFL career, he is Braylon Edwards. It is the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Good to see you. I can't complain. Technically, it could be a receiver show every day because, I
well, that's a good point. That's a good point. We kind of made it a little bit of a wide receiver show yesterday with the talent we had with some of the track stars, because you were a track star as well as a junior Olympian. Did you stay up and watch the Major League Baseball All-Star game? And if so, how long?
I did. This is what I did. I watched the first 4 innings. I had to watch the first inning. You know why? I had to get through that first inning. We'll talk about that. Ended up getting to the third. Then I switched out, and then I came back. I'm glad I came back. I'll leave it at that.
Do you like the swing off?
This is what I would say. Rob Manfred, the commissioner of the MLB, he's done a lot of things that I don't necessarily agree with, but I feel like in the last 3 years, he's trying to find the pulse. And I think 2 things he connected on. One, he's starting to baseball stop taking itself so serious. And I think last night having that swing off, which was electric, I loved it, much like everybody else. I loved it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was something new, like a pitch clock. But also you can tap back into they wore their uniforms much like we always loved baseball used to do. So shout out to Bob Manfred, because I've said a lot of negative things about him. This was a good thing. I enjoyed the swing off. And Kyle Schwarber, he's not the guy you want to go against in those moments. Yeah, he's just not the guy.
He's the man. Look, I love the going back to the home uniforms. All right? It's the first time since 2019. Why they went to softball uniforms, I'll never know. So I like that. I hate the swing off.
Okay.
And I'm going to be in the minority, and that's okay. I don't like games decided by gimmicks. So I don't like shootouts.
Yeah.
I mean, would you decide an NBA All-Star game by 3-point shooting? Would you decide it? Well, the NFL's a joke. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we're looking at.
I've always thought about that with soccer. Soccer, that always blew my mind. Because like, it'll be a whole country on this one soccer team, and it'll be decided about what a goalie going the wrong way.
A penalty kick.
Yeah.
That's essentially what happened in the last World Cup with Mbappe and Messi. Shout out to Messi. Finally wins his first one. Mbappe played tremendous in that game as well. But, yes, I agree on that stage. You're talking about something that I've prepared 4 years for, sometimes a lot longer than that, because you may not even qualify 4 years prior. Yeah. So, yes, on that stage, 1,000%. But you're talking about the new age world of sports and an all-star game. Look, it's a swing off. It's some players that we love to watch hit bombs. And at the end of the day, I don't think this game carries the same weight that it did in 2000, 95, and 88, and 75. So in this new world in which we live in, 2025, yes, it was fun for where we are at now.
Okay, so a couple of things. If I want to see people hit bombs, and I do, can you give me Judge? Can you give me Ohtani? Can you give me Alonso? You're giving me Kyle Stowers. Okay, so that's number one. If it's an exhibition, which it is, I agree with that, then why are we voting for people keep telling me you want to see the best. You don't get the best. Don't give me that crap. You don't get the best. You're getting everybody from at least one team. Don't tell me that, it's just an exhibition, and then on the other hand, people want to see the best swing for the fences. If I got the best to swing for the fences, then I would have understood it. If I got the best in the All-Star game, I would have understood it. It's a gimmick. And don't tell me that it's really important or not important, because it is. Businesses are spending money. Networks are spending money. Fans are spending money. This is a gimmick. You don't end games that way. Well, Shep, they didn't have any pitchers left. How many times have you gone back to an All-Star game and decided, you know what?
Yeah.
That guy didn't play. Sometimes it never happens.
Would you rather your all-star game in a world which we live in now be a gimmick, or would you rather you really try to go out there and make it happen and this be, a super serious affair. Now the guys that you like, they get hurt or things of that nature.
Well, Eugenio Suarez got hurt last night, and
that's where I was.
And he was in the box. Look, the NHL has made it a non-defensive All-Star game.
Right.
The NBA has made it, you're my pal, take the lane, dunk and posterize on somebody.
Hate that.
And the NFL has turned it into a schoolyard football
Powder
game.
puff.
Okay? Baseball really is the only sport you can use their format to be really good, because if you make an error on defense, then it goes against you and it makes you look bad, right? Whereas in the NBA, everybody's doing it, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I think it is a little bit more serious, and maybe I'm taking it too serious. I'm open to criticism for that.
Yep, I absolutely agree with you. I got one question and one question only. Don't you think that the Ghost Runner on second is also gimmicky, but it works for the current MLB product?
I don't like it. I've never liked it.
Okay.
But if you're going
That's
to
fair.
do that during the regular season, and you feel like the regular season games are important, then do it in the All-Star game. I kind of agree with A.J. Hinch. 10th inning, put a guy on first. 11th inning, put a guy on second.
I like that.
Okay?
I never heard that one.
Instead of always putting him on second. I think it's a joke, but I don't like the pitch clock either. Okay? So there's
Really?
You're a traditionalist.
Well, here's the reason I don't like the pitch clock. We had a meeting in California 4 years ago for network television.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the pitch clock and how they're going to institute it and how many seconds they're going to put on it, 15 seconds, okay, with nobody on base. And I said, I raised my hand, I said, why don't you just institute, I think it's Rule 501C, because I read the rule book. I read the rule book every year. Why don't you just institute that? It's 12 seconds. It used to be 12 seconds for umpires to tell the pitcher, if you don't throw it, it's a ball. Nobody did it. Nobody implemented it in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, but 12 got to 25. At least 15 is always 15.
Right, 12 got to 25, but it wouldn't have got to 25 if they actually had the guts to
Implementation.
implement the rule. What's the point of the rule being in there if you're not going to implement it?
Let's go back to some of the funny All-Star game.
Okay.
Clayton Kershaw.
Awesome.
Like, literally, like it's him and JV, would you say, last 25 years? Or is it just Clayton by himself?
No, I'd throw Justin Verlander in there for sure.
Okay, fine. I had to throw some JV love in there. Shout out to Detroit. But here we go. Clayton Kershaw. I love the fact when they get these mics and they talk to them as they're pitching, the catchers and pitchers, they get involved in that. It's fun because it really lets you into how great they are. Not necessarily the conversation. Clayton was great. Tarek, he got a little bit in trouble. He got a little quiet. So you understand that he's young, got quiet.
It's not his personality. You're
100%. But insert Clayton Kershaw, who not only knows he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, maybe even unanimous if they play those games, but he knows this. I'm out of the game. This is it for me, man. And he's also he's 15-year veteran. He's I'll give him some cheese. I love that, and in loving that, I can't get mad at the swing off. Okay. Because that gimmick element, that's super gimmick. You're not getting that. This isn't baseball back in the day.
But you do get that. You do get that on the national level. You get that.
But
Fox
not
and
that
ESPN
carefree.
will do that. Not that carefree.
Yeah, not that carefree.
You're right.
Having jokes. It's
you'll get it with a half an inning with a player out there. Personally, I think that's a little intrusive.
I agree with that. Just like I don't like the being able to interview a coach after every quarter almost.
100%.
I
Or a
like
player.
But I don't like that.
Yeah. Do you like when the NHL goes behind the bench and talks to one of the head coaches?
I do.
Okay. So
It
I
feels
think
different.
from an access standpoint, I think it's great. Yeah. You played at the highest level. Would you want somebody in your ear when you're split wide right outside the numbers and you're running a go route and you got Ricky and Kool-Aid going, B, what are you running here? Just out of curiosity.
Absolutely not, because I was mic'd 3 times in my NFL career. I was mic'd twice with the Browns, once with the Jets, but in watching that film back, once you get mic'd and once you go through warm-ups, when you forget that you're mic'd, you tell the people, hey, look, don't be talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm right here, hot mic. But once you get into the game, like, it's done. You forget about it. You're going about your business, and it's not until you watch the playback and you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot I was mic'd up. I could only imagine if I had somebody in my head talking to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, hey, I wouldn't be able to do it. No. So it's fun. I definitely agree with you on that.
It is a different sport.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
can't compare
But
playing
still,
wide receiver and where you're trying to get off a hand check and chicken fighting downfield compared to
Can you
a
imagine
pitcher.
Jared Goff trying to do an interview?
Yo.
Like as he's
But there's still
just broke the huddle, come to the line of
Yeah.
scrimmage, got to read the line of scrimmage, make the autos,
Yeah.
make the adjustments.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
But they'll talk to like a shortstop. Like I couldn't imagine a ball coming at me 110. I gotta get it on the short hop, and you just asked me about what I had for dinner yesterday.
Well, they did that with Pete Crow Armstrong. He's in center field, so you're just hoping for that moment. I get it as on the broadcast side of things. When I was calling games, I completely understood it, but I was also sensitive to the space in which athletes play and are trying to make a living. I would often suggest batting practice, fielding
Yeah.
practice.
There you go.
Mic them up there and then roll it back.
That's smart.
You know, there is a difference when we watch quarterback and wide receiver in those Netflix docuseries. Those are just parab mics, or you know. The other thing that you have is when you were talking about you're mic'd up, it's a trust factor too. If you say something and they leave it on the edit room floor, you hope nobody's sitting there going, I know what I'm doing. I'm stealing this for the party at Kool-Aid's on Friday night. Me and my buddies are getting together, and we're going to hear what Braylon Edwards really had to say about the corner who's guarding him.
Hey, Bray, I got
You-
your back,
you got
though,
some
man. I
insight.
got your back, all right? If
I
they bring
appreciate
to
that.
the
Yeah,
party,
don't leave
I'ma
me
let
out to
you
dry.
know. I got
You know,
bro.
what
It's AI.
happens in the studio semi stays in the
It's
studio.
AI. Just say it's AI.
I didn't want me. You have no proof. That's why AI is dangerous, because the stuff that starts to be real, they're like, oh, that didn't really happen.
Of
Did
course.
it not?
Oh yeah. I already got my legal statement ready. All I gotta do is sign it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought it was interesting. I love the access, and I love the camaraderie. Joe Davis calls Dodgers games, so they have the relationship with Clayton Kershaw.
Like a young
But-
Vin Scully.
Yeah, and then you've got John Smoltz, who I think is probably the best analyst in any sport, at least my opinion. So when you got Clayton Kershaw guarding, I love that. I'm going to throw some cheese here. His reaction to Kyle Tucker's catch, I think it's all wonderful for television.
Yeah, no 100%. I love the fact he said, look, what are you thinking right now? He said, yeah, man, cutter slide. He said, well, I don't throw cutters, so here comes another slider.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
I don't throw sliders, so here comes another cutter. But I had it right the first time. John Smoltz, I love him. Part of my life, and I've said this on the show before, I love the Tigers. I'm a Tigers guy, 1,000%. I was born and raised here. But I moved to Atlanta in 1989, and I didn't move back to Detroit to 1994.
Okay.
You know what was going on in 1989 and 1994. So when you say John Smoltz, Glavine, Avery, Maddox, Dion, Gant, Pendleton, Justice, Bobby Cox, the list goes on.
Yeah,
so
you
when
got
you
'em
say
all.
Smoltz, I'm like, and he's also from here, so I love John Smoltz.
How come you didn't say Sid Bream? I wonder why there's no
Sid Bream
Sid
makes
Bream.
there's a couple random. Otis Nixon was on that team. Sid Bream was on
Yeah,
that team.
yeah. Otis Nixon-
a young Chipper Jones.
A young Chipper Jones. Otis Nixon, who was, I believe, the uncle of Nico Goodrum, who played for the Tigers. So kind of
got me
interesting.
beat.
Tom Verducci was part of the broadcast last night. I think he's excellent at what he does. He's probably one of the best baseball and sports writers there is in the industry. He's also a hell of a broadcaster. He can be a sideline guy, but he also can be an analyst in the booth as well. He came out with a list of AL MVPs. And obviously Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh are 1 and 2. But he also has Tarek Skubal 3. What's the belief on a pitcher winning the MVP? And it's happened plenty. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that, because I believe the Cy Young, they have their own. I don't think they should be in the MVP discussion.
I appreciate your thoughts on that. I slightly disagree, and the only reason why is because I believe when a pitcher is your identity, when a pitcher is, for lack of a better word, like who you run everything through. Don't get me wrong, the Detroit Tigers have a very good pitching staff. They've shown you that over the course of the last 18 months. Great pitching coach in Chris Fetter. He's the best assistant coach in the MLB in my expertise, which is none. But Tarek Skubal, like, he is the engine that drives Detroit Tigers. Like, I went to the game last Friday. He has a rough game, and instantly you're like, whoa, what can this team win the World Series if he's pitching like that? Is this team really the team that we are? The way in which he pitched last year, you know when he's on the mound, you got to win. Like, that's the energy you have. You know when he's on the mound, you got to win. When he's driving in, then you feed on the momentum, and then everybody else is allowed to do the things they do. The fact that he's that much a part of the success in terms of just the observation or the perception, I think for sure he deserves to be in. You're talking about a team in the Detroit Tigers before he had the season he had last year. Where were they? And there's a lot of things go into that, but so does it for a lot of other MVP candidates as well. I think that I don't have a problem with him being in it for sure.
I guess my issue is, if Tarek Skubal makes 32 starts this year,
Yeah.
he will have played under 20% of the games Detroit plays. For me, I'm not saying he can't win the Cy Young because he absolutely can. But for me, I don't buy it. If Steve Carlton in 1972 can win 27 of his team's 54 games and finish 5th in the MVP, have a league high in WAR at 12.1, I'm having a hard time giving that award to Tarek Skubal. As much as I respect him, think he's the best pitcher on the planet, shout out to Planet Fitness, and think that he's as important to the Tigers as he really is. Team MVP, perhaps. League MVP, absolutely not.
And I get what you're saying there as well, Shep. I really do. Pitcher, I think it's always going to be a tough case to make for him. That's why I do believe when you see them in the top 3 of MVP voting, from any of these national outlets, I do believe that is a tall accomplishment. I think that's them looking at school, and instead of just saying he's a good pitcher, they're saying that this guy is so impactful that he does belong in the conversation. But just like a running back winning, league MVP in the NFL, it's going to be tough for a pitcher to go out there and do that, no matter how great we've seen Terry Skubal be. But I still think it's an accomplishment. I still think it's a tip of the cap.
No, I do too.
They're still saying, hey, look, this guy is one of the most special players in the league. But you're right in terms of how much does a pitcher have an effect during the regular season over the positional players who are playing more consistently.
Yeah, look, it's happened in Detroit before. I mean, Hal Newhouser won back-to-back, okay? Willie Hernandez in 1984 appeared in 80 games out of the bullpen. I want you to think about that. 80 games out of the bullpen. He also finished 68 of them. I mean, he was a quote-unquote closer, and he threw 140 innings. Didn't lead the league in saves at 32, but he did win the MVP and the Cy Young. And I thought that was kind of a joke back in 1984. I just think you got to be an everyday person. That's all. I'm not asking for a part-time guy. It's not the same thing, but if a guy played 20% of the snaps in a game in the National Football League, I doubt you're giving him the MVP of the game. Okay? I know it's not the same thing, but I think you got to be an every down player. I think you have to be in every, like when Mark Mosley won the MVP as a kicker, I thought that was hilarious. I think you got to be an everyday guy.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So it sounds like you have a deep-rooted issue with pitchers being in the contention of MVP. Fair enough.
Deep-rooted issue.
Deep-rooted issue. No, and I get that. I think different eras, different things. Back in the day, you had to finish games. You had to at least get to the 7th, to the 8th, to the 9th. You had to really be the determining factor. A lot of times nowadays, Terry Skubal allowed to be out after the 5th, allowed after the 6th, and then you still have 3 innings to see what happens in that. So it's not even just your game. So I can understand that. I think where you had me a little bit. I had to vibe with you on that. It's talking about just being a part of every game, like being in every game.
You take pride in that.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. You to have to go up there and hit the ball 4 times, to have to go up there to field the ball in 9 innings unless it goes to extra, to have to do that for 162 or even 130 of that 162. I definitely understand that. But when you're talking about an individual, in my estimation, much like Kool-Aid said, just driving where Detroit is over the last 2 years, I think you start to take more into just, did he finish the game? Did he make it to 9? How many games did he win? I think you start to take, what is this team without Terry Skubal? What is the energy behind Terry Skubal? You look on TV, Terry Skubal's got commercials nationally now. Yeah. I think you start to add the popularity and the other things into it. He's a driving force into a league where Mike Trout was your best player for 10 years, and most people couldn't point him out of a lineup. And I think now Terry Skubal, who's a quiet guy, is implementing himself in popularity over the country. Not only what he does in terms of just being cool and chill, that's how he throws that heat.
I do wonder too, and this is something that's come up just in like side conversations with friends, when we do get into the philosophical part of this, because the batters are going to do what? They're going to get 3 or 4 plate appearances, whereas pitchers are going to face more batters in that game effectively than a batter would over maybe 2 or 3 days. And so in terms of the plate appearances, Scoobs is definitely going out there and putting up gems, pitching long in the games, and seeing every batter on that lineup at least once or twice. Whereas for the batters that do play more consistently every day, they may be seeing 3 to 4 plate appearances a game.
Yeah, but they're also playing defense. They're doing more than just hitting. This isn't pitching against hitting. This is pitching against everyday guys. Yeah. So I mean, if you want to look at it that way, let's only vote for catchers because they're catching every pitch,
Yeah.
whether the starter is out there or not, and they're
point.
hitting, and they're doing it on a regular basis. And I don't think we would ever do that. Look, this is not it's not a massive debate. All right, there's plenty of guys, whether it be Bruce Sutter, Dennis Eckersley, guys who have been MVPs.
Shout to
before.
Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, shout to Oakland Athletics, who have been MVPs as pitchers and as closers. I just wanted your thoughts on it.
Where are you on the other? Where are you in a different sport? Football. Every year we know who's going to get the award. It's going to be which quarterback plays a little bit better than the other three that he gets thrown into the contention with every single season. That's who's the MVP going to be. Where are you with other players winning MVP? Like, should Saquon Barkley have won the MVP last year?
I absolutely.
Okay.
I think he should be absolutely in the conversation. It has turned into a quarterback award,
Right.
and I think so is the Heisman, to a certain extent, right? Because that's where we gravitate to. Everybody, I can't wait to watch football games with you because I know exactly where you're going to be watching. Everybody watches the football, and I get it. I watch the guards. And I watch the guards because they're going to tell me where the ball is going. If it comes up, in all likelihood, 80% is going to be a pass. If it's down, it's going to be a run. And then I find the ball. Right. We are all, no matter who it is, we are trained to watch the ball in every single sport instead of away from the ball, right? And I think with these guys, I mean, that's exactly what's happened in football. It's the guys delivering the ball.
Reason why I ask that question is because in football, quarterbacks will be essentially Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani. Because they're the ones you're talking about. They're always on the field. They do everything. They're the ones you rely on in all spaces. Shohei is now pitching and batting. But you just said that you would choose a running back to win. Running back doesn't have the same amount of pressure on him as a quarterback, much like a pitcher doesn't have the same amount, much like a Shohei or a Judge. A pitcher is a secondary player to a running back is secondary to a quarterback.
I said Saquon Barkley. And I said they should be.
I snuck you. I tried to cheat.
I listen. I said they should be in the conversation.
Fair.
I don't think that it doesn't mean that it's an automatic win, but I think you're trying to tell me that Barry Sanders, to your point, okay, when he won 2 MVPs, wasn't the most important player. Absolutely, the most valuable player. Absolutely. Got a quick timeout. Speaking of valuable, Ben Johnson is really valuable.
Justice, it means different things to different people, but whether it's a settlement or a verdict, they will fight for you because Ben Johnson, he is the fighter. BenFights.com, Ben Johnson Law. Justice is always worth the fight. If you got a case, contact the lawyers at benjohnson.law. Look, man, they're tough, tenacious, and trial lawyers. That means they don't care what it has to take to get you the money or to get you the settlement that you rightfully deserve. They're going to do that for you. Ben Johnson Law at benfights.com.
Tired of losing out on the car of your dreams? Bad credit? No credit? At the Feldman Chevrolet Freedom Sale, we say yes. Over 5,000 new Chevys to choose from, all priced to move with our best deals of the year. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $149 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for only $209 a month. When other dealers say no, Feldman Chevrolet says yes. Don't miss the Freedom Sale, going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer. Summer's heating up and Feldman's clearing space for the incoming new models. That means massive markdowns during Feldman's Hot Summer Sale. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $189 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for just $209 a month. Inventory's moving fast, and when it's gone, it's gone. So don't sweat the search. Just get to Feldman. More locations, more inventory, more ways to save. The Hot Summer Sale is on at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Hey, it's Stick from Woodward Sports. I'm out here at the Feldman shop, of course, you know, because they are #1 people. And the Ineos Grenadier, that's the new car that they got. But I got my man here, the Sun God. I'm not lying. His name is Amon-Ra.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He sold me a car.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up? Come see us out here, baby. We in Waterford. We got the pre-owns all day. We got the Grenadiers, and we got new Chevys all day. Whatever you need, we got you.
Yeah, and I went with this one. I like it. 2023 Durango. It's used. Only got like 30,000 miles on it. And this guy, man, I was like, listen, this is my price. You either make it happen or I'm out of here.
Easy.
You know what he did? Went to his boss. He's like, I'm making this happen for this guy. Came back, threw the contract on the table. Now I'm in the whip.
Yes, sir. Sign, drive, 0 down, easy money all day.
All right, Feldman, what's the address here, do you know?
5300 Highland Road, Waterford, Michigan, 48327. Open until 6 o'clock every weekday except 9 o'clock on Mondays and Thursdays. It's 4 o'clock on Saturdays. Only day we're not here for you is Sunday. Every other day we're here to get it done, baby.
And his legit name is Amon-Ra. I'm not lying. It was
Yes, sir.
destined. It was meant to be. Woodward Sports found this guy. So
Exactly.
thank you very much, man. Enjoying the car, and the kid likes it too. It's nice and safe.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network. The boys of summer are ready to get back to the playoffs. And there's no better place to get your Tigers coverage than Woodward Sports. Join us all season long as we follow as our hometown Tigers claw and fight. This ball is gone. Boys are back in town. Feel the roar with Woodward Sports.
In the market for a car? I will be soon. And I think you might be as well. Starting to become a little bit more affordable. No place is it more affordable, of course, than a place that you trust and the people you enjoy being around, like Les Stanford, Buick, and GMC. Great offers for everybody. Let me give you a quick example, okay? You've seen the 2025 Hummer EV SUT. They've got a lease right now and a special for $599 a month. It's unbelievable. How about Braylon's truck, the 2025 Sierra Double Cab Elevation, lease special $169 a month. Why do you think he spends so much money on clothes? Because he saves so much money on cars. It's a beautiful thing. Get to Les Stanford today. Check out their massive inventory. They've got it all for you. There's no way you can go on their parking lot and look and say, I don't like anything that they're offering. There's so many cars, so many trucks, so many SUVs, and so many colors. Les Stanford, Buick, and GMC. For all these specials, go to lesstanford.com.
Can't put my business out here like that, Shep. You know what I'm saying? I want people to know.
I saw you look up when he said
Can't
it.
put my business out here like that.
Same
I'm
truck.
a broke man. I'm a broke man.
He doesn't dress like one. Welcome back. Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, Monday through Friday, 2 to 4. Follow us on all our socials.
Please do.
Great to have our entire crew here, and we're going to play a game right now.
Oh, I like games.
There are, I think rivalries are dead in sports, professional sports. That's
Collegiate
just my
sports,
opinion. So, for example, I'm real quick. Everybody, open their mics, please. Just real quick. Ready? And I say rivalry in the NBA. Where does your mind go? That's not real quick.
You know
Minnesota,
what? That's a good
Denver.
one. Minnesota. I say L.A. and then it just kind of stops there. I ain't gonna lie.
Celtics and
LA
Warriors
versus
for a
everybody.
second.
I was going to say Lakers Celtics.
Yeah, Lakers Celtics.
Okay.
Okay, we're talking about okay.
And it's
overall.
shoved down our
Pistons,
throat.
Knicks.
I don't know about Pistons. I don't know if I can call it a rivalry.
That's
To each
fair.
his own to define it. All right.
Yeah.
But
Pacers,
it
Knicks.
took us a little while to get there. Okay. Pacers Knicks because of Reggie Miller in New York a long time ago. That wasn't rekindled until this year.
Well, last year the Knicks beat the Pacers in the semi. And
yeah.
They turned around and beat them.
Oh, that's a good point. So back-to-back years, maybe there's something there. I didn't see the choking aspect, I suppose, until this year.
Okay.
NHL, go.
Blank.
Boy, I mean, historically, Wings, Blues, Wings, Blackhawks.
Wings don't have a rival right now because they can't get to the playoffs. So we can politely keep them off the list right now.
Yeah, Wings, Leafs.
I love you.
Probably Wings, Leafs, Habs, Bruins. Usually it's original six, right? Unless it's territorial. Major League Baseball.
Red Sox, Yankees.
Yeah, Sox.
That's because a four-letter network shoves it down our throat, but they've given us great memories. You're right. I mean, I would say San Francisco and L.A., maybe St. Louis and the Cubs. You notice
Playoffs, Padres, Phillies?
I just don't think they meet enough.
Yeah, true.
Okay. What's that? Detroit, Cleveland?
If they meet again.
Turn your mic off.
That Detroit Cleveland's not a terrible answer. I mean, they not have they met in the playoffs, but they meet during the regular season, and it was pretty damn close a year ago. So I'm with you on that. There's not that many.
No.
College
you're
football, we gravitate toward that stuff every single
They
freaking
have
week.
trophies for rivalries.
Yeah,
But the problem is that's soon to be over. That's soon to be over, and I'm telling you, that's soon to be over. I legitimately had a conversation with a diehard Ohio State fan. This was a golf out in like April. Golf out in April. Ohio State, I know how that state feels about me because I played for the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
I know how that rivalry feels because I played for Michigan. Never would I ever thought that I would hear them not care about a loss to Michigan. I brought it up to him. He was the first person I ran into. They won the national championship that I can have a conversation. Like, okay, you guys won. Congrats. But, like, how do you feel that you didn't beat Michigan? Because when my dad played, even 6 years ago, all they cared about was beating Michigan. Mm-hmm. That's all they cared about. That was on their calendar. They can win the national championship, but it wouldn't matter because they didn't beat who? That team up north, as they like to call us. He said, I can care less about that. He said, we won the Natty.
Wild.
That's now the sentiment. And now with them being 12 games, eventually it'll be 16. It'll just keep going further and further back. It doesn't matter about a rivalry game. It doesn't matter about a Big Ten Conference Championship. It holds no weight. So what do I care if I'm Florida, insert Florida State, insert Alabama and LSU, insert whoever you want to insert. There will be no rivalries because they no longer matter. They
That's
no
sad.
longer hold weight. Oklahoma and Texas aren't even the same damn conference anymore.
Right.
To where
That's
they
crazy.
first started,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Used to be the Red River Shootout. It still is, but
Yeah.
it probably doesn't
When's the
hold.
last time you paid attention to that game, realistically?
Well, yeah, I watch it every year, for sure.
When's the last time you've been excited to watch?
It's been a while. Yeah. So I think you're right about that, and it's really sad because now you made me realize that perhaps the rivalry is in college basketball a little bit more. And of course, we talk about Duke, North Carolina. We talk about Kentucky, Louisville. We talk about Michigan, Michigan State. I would like to see more of it. I just don't see enough of it, unfortunately. In the NFL, it used to be, I think, a little bit more prevalent.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, Kansas City and Oakland was a nasty rivalry. Okay, anybody within the black and blue division was a wicked rivalry. When the Redskins at the time played the Cowboys, it was buckle it up a little bit tighter. Okay. Now, Sports Illustrated has come out with the rivalries for every team, and I don't have to go through every single team, but I'm going to play a little game here. I want you to guess who the rivalries are within the division. All right. First and foremost, the Green Bay Packers. Who is their biggest rivalry according to Sports Illustrated? And then I want to know who you think it is.
Chicago Bears.
You think it's the Chicago Bears?
Yeah.
You think that's what they said, or that's who you believe?
I think that's what they said.
And who do you believe?
The Detroit Lions.
Okay.
I agree with that. I think they said Bears, and I think it's the Lions.
Okay.
Kool-Aid?
Oh, you know what? I can't even play the game right now because I got the graphics over here.
I know. You know. I know what it is.
Hey, he
That's
didn't
why we
try
got
to
KG
At least you
here.
didn't cheat.
Minnesota.
Okay.
I can't
KG?
cheat.
It's gonna be Minnesota.
What do you think?
KG?
Yeah, KG. Well, you're sitting there. You got a microphone. Yeah.
I technically know too, but all right. So you said what was the question again?
I said, thanks for listening, Lisa. Green Bay. That's my wife's name. Green Bay. Who's their rival?
The Lions.
Okay. SI says it is the Lions.
Oh, okay.
The Packers have a talented team since parting with Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago, but they've been level below the Lions in the NFC North. Jordan Love struggled in the 2 losses against Detroit last season. One of his best performances since taking over the Packers' starting role was on Thanksgiving of 2025 when he threw 3 touchdowns. All right, so they've got the Lions. The Chicago Bears. Who is their biggest rival?
The Packers.
Braylon?
Lions.
I say the Packers.
I'm going to go with Packers.
They've got the Packers. And yeah,
I can see that.
I mean, I think it is the second longest rivalry in the history of the sport. Okay? I think it's only behind Detroit and Green Bay.
Green Bay.
Okay? I believe. I could be wrong there. It might be the other way around. Okay. The Minnesota Vikings. Who is the Minnesota Vikings' biggest rival?
I haven't got one right yet. I'm gonna say Minnesota. I'm gonna say the Packers.
Say the Packers?
So you got KG.
Yeah, that's hard. Packers.
I wanted to be funny and say the Saints, but I'll say the Lions. Why not?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No.
They say the Packers.
Packers, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of makes sense when you're playing a team twice in a season and you've had some history and you've had players exchange. Brett Favre goes from Green Bay to Minnesota. All
Right.
those things, right? There's a certain hatred built. Last one in the division. Has everybody taken a drink of water so you don't throw up in your mouth here? The Detroit Lions. Who are the Lions' rivalry?
Packers.
Vikings.
Vikings? You say the Vikings?
Vikings.
Okay.
Packers.
Packers?
I'll say the Packers.
Okay. I would say the Packers, too, from the standpoint that they've met 191 times.
Right.
Okay. Longest rivalry in the sport. They've met every year since 1932 and twice every year since 1933. If you said the Bears, okay, they've played them 190 times. If you said the Vikings, they've played them 127 times. It's significant. SI says it's the Rams.
I was trying to be smart. I'm not that smart. I'm not. That's the Rams.
How old
Well,
is
I
the
guess
person
it's
who
because
wrote
it
this?
started in St. It started.
Yeah, it's a great question. How old is the person who wrote this?
Arizona?
They have played the Rams, surprisingly, a lot, 89 times.
Okay.
But that's, come on, it's
Yeah,
not even close. I mean, the double the amount when you play Green Bay and Minnesota. Here's what they say. The recent rivalry has had several intriguing storylines, none bigger than, you got the violin? Stafford
Right, I
and
wish.
Goff. Rams got the
Right.
better end of the deal. Blah. I don't
That's my
have
best
to read
violin.
the entire write-up about it.
Basically, it's because of Stafford.
Yeah, recency bias.
Basically.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Recency
Hey, you
bias.
know
No,
what?
it's Stafford.
When he asked us this,
But that was
I
the
couldn't
question
guess
you
it
asked.
in the beginning when he asked, like, who was the Lions'
Yeah.
rival? We went through so many teams. We went through the NFC. We just started naming teams that we didn't think
Yeah.
made sense. And when I just pulled up the graphic to start, to load them into the system, I laughed out loud, like, seriously? And it is right. I think it's more about recency bias, but I'm sorry, like, my blood doesn't boil when I think of the Rams,
Me either.
especially understanding
Yeah.
the last two times
Right on.
we've handled them.
There's no Rams fans invading Ford Field.
No, not
like,
at all.
At LCA, when the Wings play the Maple Leafs, Toronto comes in with a pretty good representation. Chicago would come in with a pretty good representation. When the Pistons play the Raptors or the Bulls, when they used to play the Bulls, and both teams were good, it was a good representation. Rams good, Lions good. People are coming in wearing Lions or Rams uniforms. No. You might have some smartass or some lost soul or somebody who's from Los
Or
Angeles.
the Stafford jersey.
Or Stafford jersey. Right.
This is a sell comp, but at the same time, this is also to create a stir, to create a buzz, have some conversation. People read this, oh, the Rams, and what? Let me see why you say that. Because there is recent bias, much like you said about the Knicks and the Pacers. You say, oh, I guess it happened last year, but this is more. This is the same thing. Like, they will have to play another 2 times in the playoffs for this to even really get real merit.
Yeah.
Right now, they played in the playoffs. Yes, it was Stafford and Goff, and then they played at the beginning of the season, and there was a loss in overtime. So there's 2 losses. I don't get it.
Have we lost nostalgia in sports?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because there's
That makes me sad. It really does. And I don't mean nostalgia like I was sad when Dave Parker died earlier this year because I loved watching. I loved watching the Cobra.
They did a good tribute to him too.
They really did, and it was a really good tribute to Hank Aaron, who I think is one of the most
that was
underrated baseball players of all time. But I'm talking about nostalgia in terms of history between 2 franchises, whether they're good or bad. I don't care. Look, no offense, Ohio State ramrodded Michigan for how many straight years? 7? Was it 7 straight years?
It was a long time.
Longer?
It was 2000 and
10 years? Was it 10
Yeah,
years?
it was like
It might have been 10 years. It didn't lessen the rivalry, did it? Why do we think 2 teams have to be really good to have a rival?
they don't have to be really good, but they have to be really competitive. And what happened during the Michigan Ohio State rivalry for a while, it lacked competition.
Yeah.
It literally was the Ohio State show. I'm honest, I can admit it. It was a Ohio State show starring Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, or featuring Michigan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was that way for a while. So yeah, it's still a rivalry, but it just lacked enthusiasm. It lacked what it used to have. It lacked what it has now.
Sure.
So
10
years of that.
It may lack what it has now because in your mind, because Michigan won, but I think what it never lacked was emotion. It never lacked that.
You're losing by 40, 30, 20 points in a rivalry consistently. Like, we almost lost by 50 one year.
Yeah.
Like, that emotion is, I'm mad as hell.
Sure.
I
guess
I'm not
my
into
point,
the game.
my point is going into the game, the emotion that you have as an alum, anybody has as a Michigan fan, is still high level. There's still a belief there.
They were liars, but yeah, sure. I knew what it was.
All right, we're going to take a quick time out. How about this from BlackRock right now?
See, I got all the reads. Look, this one I really don't even need to read for, man. BlackRock is the place. That's why they've come on board, and we are glad to partner with them. But they're doing some interesting stuff that goes outside the restaurant. It's the summer giveaway. Starting now, they're dropping prizes for the next 8 weeks. Today, we've already done the reveal, but we'll do it again. First up, 4 tickets to Tigers game August 4th. We talked about your team. Do you want to go see the Tigers at Comerica Park? It's nothing like seeing a baseball game in August, September, or maybe even November if we're lucky. But you got it. 4 tickets. Come on down. And then also, the grand prize, 4 tickets to the Big Ten football home opener September 14th. Football season is underway. Look, although there are no more rivalries, football is still good. It's getting better and better. You want to be a part of that. Each entry gets you into the week's prize and the grand finale. You got to tune in every Monday to see if you win. Scan that QR code above my head. That's what gets you set up.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app, online or in club, and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
We got something for you, too. Shop online at woodwardsports.com.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Feldman Chevrolet is Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer, and with 5 locations in Highland, New Hudson, Novi, Livonia, and Lansing, you guys can definitely go and get that deal all over the great state of pure Michigan. You guys see it there, man. This month's special include the 2025 Silverado 1500 Crew, lease it for $189 a month, and then the 2026 Equinox Limited for $209 a month. Make sure you guys go ahead and scan that QR code. This offer ends on August 10th, so you guys want to get there.
Welcome back.
All right, back.
That's the time it is, man. We're back having a great show. Oh, Shep, this is day 3.
This is day 3.
How you feeling over there?
I feel fantastic. I get fired up every time I walk through the doors.
Let's go.
I get fired up every time Ricky comes in and he gives me a slap on the back.
There you go.
You get that
I get
spiritual slap.
Yeah, I get fired up every time you walk in the room and you say it's on, and I immediately think, of course the lights are on. What are you referring to? Let's go. Well, welcome back. The Braylon Edwards Show with Shep every Monday through Friday, 2 till 4. There is something I want to talk about in football. I'm really excited. We'll do that in the 3 o'clock hour. I think it's right in Braylon Edwards' wheelhouse. It should be, because he's one of the best wide receivers you've seen, and this is about some of the best wide receivers in football. We'll get to that at the top of the hour. I wonder sometimes as we talk about the baseball season, and I heard it yesterday from some friends who said, I don't think the Tigers, I think they've been fortunate to this point. I don't believe they have what it takes to finish.
Right.
And I'd like to know, when are we believers? When do we decide to ourselves, you know what, I'm ready to jump in with both feet?
I think Detroit fans, just because, you know, they haven't seen the championship in a very long time, they've seen a lot of misery, and even with the Tigers, you know, I think there's still a lot of people that don't believe the Lions are that good, because they're
really.
I'm talking about Detroit fans because they're scared. It's more so scared of what the city has been, scared of what the teams have been. What's the team that didn't let you down? What's the year that didn't let you down? And although that same old Lions speak, that same old Tigers speak, etc., and we're not that anymore, but that still very much exists. And I think you look at the Tigers, everything is telling you how good the Tigers are.
Yeah.
From start of last year. You don't believe in carrying in momentum? I'll start there. Start of last year, there's 0.1% chance to make it to the playoffs. Not only do you make it to the playoffs, you win, you come back. And this year, is it Gleyber Torres? They signed him. They couldn't get Bregman. They didn't do anything. Well, Gleyber Torres is an all-star. Javi Baez has found himself, and so is Spencer Torkelson. They're the #1 team in the AL, regardless of what you believe record-wise. What will it take for you? A lot of those people that have that intention, or not that intention, that mindset, they're stuck up with everything has been.
Right.
And they can't see where things are going. They can't even pay attention to when their eyes tell them, no, Riley Green has figured it out. You know, they can't seem to figure out that Tarek Skubal is the best pitcher in baseball. They can't seem to figure out that A.J. Hinch did what he did in Houston, had that black mark and that asterisk, came here to Detroit essentially to be buried, and look where they are now. They can't pay attention to how good of a skipper he is and his staff. Yeah. So
truly one of the best tacticians in all of baseball. Exactly. But he's been that guy. I think you're right with all of that. I think some of it also has to do with, as you mentioned, trust. Okay, do I trust Riley Green's going to stay healthy? Did I trust 24 homers a year ago? He's already got 24 this year. The bullpen gives you pause. I get it. Since June 1st, an ERA of over 5. No swing. The swing miss rate is really bad at 30. I mean, you're ranked dead last in swing miss rate. You know you're going to have to go get something. I'm confident they're going to get something. I think the concern is the price is going up because other teams are going to be involved too. Like Boston winning 10 straight and getting back in the thick of the AL East, I don't give a crap about the Bregman stuff. I mean more about now they look at it like we can make a push. Toronto doing what they've done, we can make a push. Tampa feels like they're still in it. They could make a push. Seattle, Houston, more teams are going to be in for the same types of guys that you want, and it might rise the prices. But I don't think there is a belief and a trust in guys like Parker Meadows, Matt Vierling, even Zach McKinstry, Spencer Torkelson, and still Javier Baez. I think that's what's giving people pause right now.
2 of those guys on that list, I don't trust either. I'm not fully trusted in Dowd too. 2 of those guys, so I would understand.
Who are they?
Parker Meadows, and Matt Vierling.
Okay.
I'm not completely sold. I like them as players. I like the things that they do when they're on. I like them. I like the little nuanced things they do as well. I love Parker Meadows' base stealing ability. I love when Vierling's on. I feel like he lights a natural spark to the team. But I don't trust those 2. Everybody else, fine. Getting back to the Tigers, this potential mark right now, though, it gives us an opportunity to put trust in Chris Ilitch. Because I think a lot of people right now still don't trust Chris Ilitch. They hear the conversation about what Alex Bregman, well, they went after Bregman and they were going to do this. And they hear that, but they don't believe it. They don't believe that money was being spent. They don't believe there is real intention. And they don't believe that he'll pay Tarek Skubal. I think part of that is what goes into that thought. Well, they're not even going to pay Skubal. How did I believe? I think this is a good opportunity for him to make a move to shut people up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I think a lot of it goes back to, as we've talked about before, trust. Right? Trust is a really tough thing to gain. And if you trusted somebody and they didn't come through for you and you lose that trust, it's hard to ask those people to come back in. When you've got a guy like, and I like Zach McKinstry, I think he's deserving, he's Chippewa, but he's deserving of the All-Star nod. But a year ago, he's batting .214 with very little power. And so I don't think there's many people. He's a career .233 hitter, folks. I think water might find its level there. And he's 30 years old, so I think that's where you're going with it, right? I mean, if he's batting .285, that's awesome. Do you really think he can stay at .285? Do you think Riley Green's going to be on pace for, what would it be, close to 40 home runs? Yeah. Do you think Spencer Torkelson's going to hit 37 homers and drive in 100? I think people are having a hard I'm not saying that they don't believe the Tigers can be good and win the division, obviously, or even make the World Series. I think that's what's causing them pause if not a move is made for them to get there.
And that's fair because it's if you look at last year and this year, the reason why there still is pause in the trust is because the guys that are doing it this year, either 1, weren't here last year, or 2, they didn't do it last year. So you don't have a continued sample size. There wasn't Spencer Torkelson that did it 2 years ago, last year, and now this is the 3rd year. There wasn't Javi Baez that was playing like El Mago, like he's playing now. We got to find some hits, but that's another story. He wasn't playing like this last year. In fact, he didn't even play in the playoff run for you. So I think when people look at it through that lens, it's like, we're not even at 100 games yet. So, no, I don't believe. I disagree with them, but I can understand to a certain extent Kool-Aid because you didn't see it last year from some of these guys. Some of these guys weren't here. So is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen?
Especially when you mix in the fact that I don't know how much people expected the Tigers to be this good. And like you talked about the contributions from, characters and characters that we were ready to cast off. A lot of us were done with people like Javi Baez or Spencer Torkelson, though there was a small minority of people who said, like our Randall Smalls of the world and some of our chat family who wanted to see him be able to and still believed in what these players could be. A lot of us didn't. We thought that the Tigers could take an incremental step forward over last year, but who thought BTA was going to be the name of the season for the Tigers? But when you mix that in with the Lions, people have invested all in, not just money over the last 2 years, but into the Lions being able to win a Super Bowl run, to go on a Super Bowl run and at least get there. I wonder how much does the sting of them not punching that ticket,
that's a good question.
How much does that affect Tigers fans who are Detroit sports fans right now.
That would be pretty unfair to Tigers players, but I think sometimes that can be human nature. So I would buy that. This Torkelson thing is puzzling to me. I get that he looked lost last year, but I always ask people, first of all, he's 25.
He's young.
Who gives up on 25
Especially in baseball.
for crying out loud? Okay, he's 25. He works really hard, and he did prove it the year before. He was rushed to the big leagues, and the year before he had 31 and 94. Now, some would argue that 31's not enough. When you have over 600 ABs, 30 homers is not, a super monumental accomplishment. I mean, it would be for me because I've never hit a home run like that. But you understand where I'm coming from.
Facts.
I chose to look at perhaps the year before rather than last year, and maybe that's foolish on my part. But I was willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is 25. I think when you're a little bit older, Braylon, and stop me if you think I'm wrong here, a guy like, I'll bring back to McKinstry, he's 30 years old. We've got a pretty good resume on who he is. He played 145 games a couple of years ago, and he bat 230. I think that's who he is, and not that there's anything wrong with that. He's just not the guy you want every single day in your lineup unless he's the aberration, where at age 30, he becomes somebody nobody thought you would be.
I think it's one of those things. I agree. You know what? You have enough of a sample size of an individual that person, for the most part, is not going to turn something different than that. You're not going to get 230. 230 is not going to 280. You know what I'm saying? 10 home runs is not all of a sudden going to 42.
Right.
So you're absolutely correct on that. But then therein lies the question: what is he doing in the dugout, the locker room, the other things, the things that we don't see on a day-to-day basis? And players like that sometimes. Coaches find needs for him. How intelligent is he as a player to relating information from skipper, from assistant coach to players and helping mentals or things of that nature? So things like that you can't put on the stat sheet. And I don't know how much of that is that. If this is just about what he can do on the baseball diamond, you know what he is. And he's not necessarily the guy that you're trying to hope he is.
One of my favorite websites, I'm sure a lot of folks out there can relate, is Baseball Reference. I love Pro Football Reference, NBA Reference. It really is like a Bible to all of us. You type in a player, you type in Braylon Edwards on Pro Football Reference, and it'll come up with all his information.
It does.
It's a wonderful category to be able to research. If they're telling you something is going to happen, then they've done a ton of research, but a ton of numbers behind it. Yeah. Baseball Reference has the Tigers making the playoffs at 99.6%. That's probably not surprising to you. Okay. 99.6%. To make the World Series is 26.5%. That's a huge number, massive number.
Yeah.
Only the Dodgers have a better number. To win it all is 14%,
which is still a large number.
Still a large number, and only the Dodgers are slightly better. I wonder if that makes people feel much better.
I feel like people don't take this wrong way. I feel like because I'll put myself, we're idiots. Like, you got baseball people telling you have some of the most smart people as it comes to this game, as it comes to these percentage ahead bets. If they're telling you, what information is it going to take, getting back to your original question, what information is it going to take for you to believe? Like, legitimately, the best in analytics is telling you. The best in coaching and media is telling you. The best in Joe Davis. Yeah, they're talking about the Tigers. They're excited. Like, what is it going to take? I'm already sold. I was sold when they lost to the LA Dodgers in Series 1 because they should have won that series in my estimation. They blew Game 1. They got whooped in Game 2. But they could have won that series. I believe in this Tigers team. I don't know what it's going to take.
So you thought that they were playing with them. I think that's
because they could hit.
Yeah,
I knew the pitcher would find itself. They could hit in that series.
Yeah, I'm not going to claim to be that smart because I can't judge something on 3 games. I usually try to give it at least 40 or 50 games, and I know that's not popular because we all want to react right away. But I try to be as patient as I possibly can with teams. And I think you're right on most of that. My immediate devil's advocate reaction to the baseball stuff is there's a lot of baseball people who said Matt Anderson was the right pick at number 1. There's a lot of baseball people who thought it was really smart to draft Mickey Moniak over Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Or wait till pick 16 to take Mike Trout in the first place. So I don't always, in football, same thing. Am I supposed to believe Bob Quinn and his draft pick of Jeff Okudah just because Bob Quinn has been in football in the front office and I haven't?
But he's a DB from Old State. He's got to work, right?
Yeah, good point. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, Matt Millen won Super Bowls, has been in huddles and locker rooms and coaches meetings and broadcast meetings talking with coaches and players, and he still drafted Brian Calhoun in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Okay? He still drafted Akika Lama-Francis. And I mean, everybody out there, especially on the chat, is starting to twitch, and for good reason, because we can't get over those draft picks. So I think sometimes there's a little bit of grain of salt when things like that are chosen or told to us that you've got to believe me because I know more. Okay, I get it. You've done your research. I respect it. But it doesn't make the fact that you're always right because you're in the business.
This is true. Kool-Aid, like, back me on this one, though.
Hey, what up, though?
And if you want to, only if you want to. When you're talking about, like, judging quarterbacks, you're judging them off, in college to what they can potentially do for the NFL.
Right.
With the pick. Are you talking about judging baseball talent? When you're talking about judging talent before they get to the big leagues, is what potentially can they do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so a lot of guys are going to be wrong. Like, there are a ton of geniuses
Yeah.
that are not geniuses, and they've made mistakes. But I think when you're getting this information from, this is you can't say hindsight because the World Series hasn't happened, but this is semi into the season. This is after what happened last season. This is after the moves that were made. This is after 95 games, essentially.
A lot of factors involved.
100%. So they're giving you this information after 95 games with the information that they have and what they see. So when I'm looking at it that way, I wouldn't judge it quite like picking a talent to come into professional ranks versus, these guys are already here.
Yeah.
This is what they're already doing, and this is what they did last year. So maybe a little bit more.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's been interesting following national media's, honestly, their attraction to the Detroit Tigers. When I look at how national media has soured a little bit on the Lions or cooled off a little bit, it's interesting because in contrast, they've been putting the Tigers at the top of all of the power rankings. Even early on in the season, we covered this on the morning show about 2 months ago or 3 months ago. The Tigers got off to a nice start, and they covered this. They were like, are the Tigers for real? Are they one of the top teams? And what they got down to the bottom of is they weren't just fattening themselves up on the bottom of the Central. They were going out there and they were also beating the good teams, the teams they thought were going to be playoff teams, contenders and such. And early on, they believed the Tigers are real because of this. What you're seeing is stuff that they believe is going to stick. But I liken it to what they've done to be able to bring in the right development around these players as well. We look at how the Pistons have failed in that regard over recent years and for probably better part of a decade
Ryan
and a half.
Garko doesn't get nearly enough credit.
Yeah. But you're looking at Bedard, you're looking at Federer, and you're looking at how guys are taking that next step forward. And I do think that's underpinning their success. But national media, they've been all over the Tigers all year.
I'm not going to give the national media a pat on the back because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, look, just because they're saying, "Wow, the Tigers are good," how about playing Bob Seger? Shit, I've known that for 10 years. Okay, how about the fact that where were you prior to the season? That's what I wanted to know. Okay, it's easy to jump on now.
Yeah,
hell. The 4-game losing streak's the longest they've had all season long. If you don't believe in them now, you shouldn't have your job. So I'm not going to sit there and go, wait a boy. Nice job, Tom Verducci. Thank you, Ken Rosenthal. I appreciate the headline for the Tigers. They should be doing it. Keep this in mind, too. The Yankees have recently stunk. They're back a little bit. At last headline I saw regarding a third baseman, you know what they're talking about? Going to New York. When many people feel like the Tigers could use one too. Lions don't need a wide receiver, and we don't need one on this show because we got the best in the business in Braylon Edwards. When we come back, we will talk about wide receivers in the NFL today after you hear this from Dr. Pearson, how you can look as good as Ricky and Kool-Aid and Braylon Edwards with Woodward Sports merch.
And hold on, I'm going to do merch. And I'm going to throw it over to the wide receiver for...
are you calling the play as it's about to happen?
That's what it looked like. Little Jared Goff.
We got merch. I'm going to scramble out of the pocket.
Omaha! Kill.
I can get it down the field. I don't got accuracy, but I know Braylon got the hands, so it's already a catch, man. But are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables. New designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Hoodies, tees, the hats that are guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com and click shop. And guys, I'm going to tell you, look in the chat. We got a merch giveaway goal going on. So make sure you guys are a part of it. Start smashing that like button. Hey, throwing it over to Braylon Edwards. That's a touchdown.
Yo, you know who doesn't call audibles, and that's Dr. Jeff Pierce, man. Check this out. Don't miss out. Expert Sports Injury Insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce. Look, he does it on Tuesday with Big D Energy, and he does it on Thursdays right here, Braylon Edwards Show with Shep. You got to trust the guy that we trust. Not only me, you're talking about 4-time Stanley Cup winner. You know him. You love him. Number 25, D-Mac. This is his guy. Dr. Jeff Pierce has been on the scene since they were winning Stanley Cups. We got to get back to that. Just like you got to get to Dr. Jeff Pierce. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com, or you can just call the number 248-426-9944. Scan the QR code if you're lazy.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Armani and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
What if I told you you could place a bet up to $1,000, and if you lose, you get your money back? You probably think I was crazy. No, I'm not. Scan that QR code or enter the code Woodward 1000. If you place a $1,000 bet and it doesn't hit, you can get your money back. That's right, up to $1,000 back just for giving it a shot. Now the bet is minimum $20, so you can't make a $10 bet. $20 to $1,000. So make sure you download that Caesars Sportsbook app right now. It is the official sportsbook of Woodward Sports. Use that code Woodward 1000 or just scan the QR code on the screen. If you on your phone, just hold down on the QR code and it'll pop up, man. Do that now.
We are
That's
back.
about as easy as it gets right there.
Yep.
The way Ricky just explained it is about as easy as it gets.
I try.
Yeah, well done. Welcome back. Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, Monday through Friday, 2 till 4 here on Woodward Sports. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials and jump in the chat. We'd love to hear from you and kind of express what you think is really important and some of the topics that we're discussing. We got a ton in here. I really wish I could mention everything that people say. We just get caught in a conversation. I get engaged with Braylon in those conversations, and we don't always get to it, so I apologize. So we try to do as best we can, and Kool-Aid will do just that as well. This is one of the surprising things. Sometimes you hear something and you go, wait a minute, I thought that already happened in sports. If I said to you that Art Monk's jersey was retired in Washington, would you believe me?
Well, I would. I'm a little older. I know there's a lot of younger individuals in the chat don't even know who the hell Art Monk is. I would definitely believe he would have to be retired. You talk about an individual that won multiple Super Bowls. You talk about an individual when you just say the last name, you knew he was a walking first down or touchdown. Art Monk didn't drop anything, and he played for one of the most storied franchise runs. Talking about the Hogs of the '80s, I would definitely think that he would be somewhere around FedEx, RFK, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Stopped playing in 1995. Okay. Stopped playing for what was then the Redskins in 1993. And when he left, he was their all-time number one receiver. And like you said, decorated.
Yeah.
All right? Not just as an individual, but on teams, right? This dude was it. He was one of the best receivers of his era. I think that's fair to say. I'm not saying he's the best, but he's one of them.
He's top 30 of all time.
Yeah. It's worthy of a jersey resignation, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. They're retiring his jersey this year. Okay. What takes so long? No, honestly, I mean, some things are just obvious, are they not? Like, I get Sammy Baugh, Bobby Mitchell, Darryl Green, unbelievable corner.
Yeah.
Sonny Jurgensen, Sean Taylor, who you referenced, I think, on Monday. Why does it take until November 2nd of 2025 to retire Art Monk's jersey when he retired in 1995?
That's wild.
Isn't that nuts?
It's an easy answer. It's
laziness.
It's two easy answers. Laziness is a part of it. The first answer is when ownership changes over. When you get the ownership, Dan Snyder buys the Washington or gets the Washington Redskins, then sells them. We know why he had to sell them. But when you get an individual that's running the team like that, doesn't care about tradition, can't care about what came before, he's not going to reward anybody. He doesn't even understand that you should reward these people. He doesn't even understand what this does to your fan base. The Sean Taylor situation, I'm glad you brought that up because I had it noted down. Do you remember how they retired his jersey? Do you remember what that process was?
I don't.
Don't worry, I'll remind you. Didn't retire it right after he passed away, which you should have. As soon as Sean Taylor passed away, 2007, you instantly do it. One, what he was going to be. Two, it's just the right thing to do.
Agreed.
And it's the right thing to do. Didn't do it in 07, didn't do it in 08, didn't do it in 09. Fast forward to 2022 when they did it. Why did they do it? They did it because all that bad press came out from Mr. Snyder. All that negative press came out as it relates to, we don't need to get into it. A lot of negative press came out. So now what do I have to do? I got to hurry up and throw something together. Yeah. They put his jersey on one of those Under Armour mannequins from Dick's Sporting Goods.
I remember that.
It was the worst presentation ever. You do it because you're not in tune with the team's history. You do it because you're not in touch with the team. You do it because you're not in touch with the fan base. Like, Art Monk is a legend in that area. But Dan Snyder didn't care.
Yeah, 100%.
He didn't care about. So I think that's what a lot of times happens is the changeover, change in regards, new ownership. They're not necessarily so intelligent, and they're stupid, for lack of a better word.
There you go. Look, that's the bottom line. And a care factor is very low. I remember, I think it was Mike Babcock, maybe it was Jeff Blashill, when I asked him about his team one year, he goes, Shep, our gas level is high. And I said, what do you mean gas level? He said, our give it blank level is really high. All right? Well, you would hope, I don't care if you just bought the team or not. Yeah. If you're going to buy something, you're going to do some homework on it, are you not? You're going to understand what it means to the area. You're going to understand the tradition. You're going to understand some of the people who came before you and made this worth buying in the first place. That is negligence as far as I'm concerned.
84 is still available for the Detroit Lions. I'm just throwing that out there. 84 is still available for the Detroit Lions. You want to talk about Hall of Herman Moore is an individual.
I thought you meant Rob Rubik for a minute because he wore 84 before Herman, but I hear what you're saying.
Rob Rubik doesn't have exactly. Rob Rubik. That's actually what I was talking about.
We love Rubes. I mean, he's awesome, but yeah.
But 84, you look at what Herm's career is. Herm is on the cusp of Canton, and we can get into that another day. I think he should be, but he's on the cusp of Canton. You talking about an individual that was fighting Chris Carter, Sterling Sharp, and was holding his own at the time. In fact, he was in the league in some years. Chris Carter, he should be in this conversation, but I digress. I agree. Art Monk should have been in the Hall of Fame in terms of the Ring of Honor, much like I think 84 for the Detroit Lions.
Let me spin this to a Detroit conversation then. Lem Barney is one of the greatest corners of all time.
Go Jack.
And he's one of 3 men who wore the number 20. Why? I love Barry Sanders, but he was 21 at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
All right? And Billy Sims before him, and I think Billy Sims, like we had the conversation earlier, Billy Sims.
Wow.
Whoa.
Oh, you're,
We hear that through the mics.
so you're worried about the thunder? I sometimes I love it when it rains. Anyway, Billy Sims, you know, we were talking about earlier the Lions' biggest rivalry. I remember the Lions and Rams because Billy Sims made his season and his professional debut against the Rams, okay, in 1980. But how do 2 guys wear number 20 after Lem Barney, one of the greatest corners of all time and one of the best players of his generation, wore it in the first place? So let's make sure we're shining that type of negative spotlight on our franchise too, if that's the case.
Yeah, 100%. I think it goes back to championships and knowing how to do it. Like the Fords were notorious looking. I love what they're doing now. I love what Sheila Hamp has ushered in. I love the people that have worked with her to get the Lions to this space. Let's not put sugar on this and say this is who they've always been.
Yeah, right.
Like the Lions were very negligent as related to the players, as related to the fan base and all things. So that's how you get it. You don't have championships. You don't have anything to celebrate. And when you don't have anything to celebrate, this is just me guessing, you become ornery as a front office. Like you don't have championships, you're just spending money on top of money on top of money, you're not winning anything. Like you become ornery. So you're not rewarding the people or paying attention to the guys that have done the work. Dick Knight, Train Lane, Bobby Lane, insert Lem Barney, and those. Like, you're not rewarding Alex Karras. You're not rewarding these engineers because you hate what the franchise is giving you as a product. And I think all those stars in that space, they were a byproduct of our team sucks, so we're not going to get rewarded. Meanwhile, Lem Barney's one of the best to ever do it throughout the 3 letters, not just the city.
Yeah, I think you're right 100% on that. You also had mentioned, you know, when we were talking about the Art Monk situation, the laziness for sure. But when they did it for Sean Taylor, not that we want to dive into Washington sports because we're going to move on here in a minute, but you made me think. You do it for Sean Taylor, we're seeing so much negative. Let's try to overcome that by showing the goodwill. In other words, it's not genuine.
Yeah.
And to me, that's as bad as anything else.
It is, because they didn't even give Sean Taylor's family 48 hours.
That's ridiculous.
Like that's the part. Like Sean Taylor, everybody remembers what happened. If you don't, look it up. Sean Taylor is worth looking up. He would have been that conversation that we have about Troy and Ed and Ronnie Lott. Sean would have been above that conversation. That's just my thoughts. But they gave his family 48 hours to tell him, hey, we got 48 hours. You know, we'll fly you out. Blah blah blah. We're doing this. What if I got something to do?
Who runs a franchise that way?
How do you call and tell me you're going to retire my son's jersey who passed away while he's playing for your franchise 48 hours from now, and if I can make it, I can make it?
Right. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous. One of the things that Sean Taylor is really good at is busting people across the middle. And who goes across the middle? Wide receivers.
Yes, sir.
ESPN has come out after polling executives and scouts and coaches about the best wide receivers in football today. And I always think this is a really interesting conversation for those who do a lot of fantasy football. Because is it indeed fantasy football, or is it indeed numbers that you're also looking at in a different way than just helping your fantasy football team? As you can see here, this is the top 10, all right? Jamar Chase is number 1. But I want people to look at, more than anything else, first of all, the fact that he's only 25 is incredible. The highest ranking and the lowest ranking. So we can debate who belongs where. Amon-Ra St. Brown, in case you're wondering, is number 6. Here's what I'd like to know is his highest ranking is 3. Who in their right mind thinks he's unranked?
Yeah,
okay?
You know what?
That's my biggest problem. Like, I understand how you can have a debate amongst top 5, top 6 guys. Think about it for a minute. Mike Evans, unranked, lowest ranking. Nico Collins, lowest ranking, unranked.
Right.
Malik Neighbors, lowest ranking, unranked. I think he's an absolute baller.
Right.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, lowest ranking, unranked. Who thinks any of those guys are not top 10?
Right.
That's a hard thing for me to stomach. And thus, sometimes when I see a poll like this or an article, it makes me wonder, back to what we were saying before, just because you're in the front office of a National Football League team, does that make you the smartest person in the room?
Absolutely not.
Not when somebody's doing this stuff.
Not at all. And you know what? I want to hear from Braylon on this thing. Our wide receiver of the show. But I got to hear from Planet Fitness first. We're gonna leave this one. So
we get back to it. We'll tell you about Planet Fitness. Yeah. Fitness is essential, and right now it is the high school summer pass. All kids that are 14 and 19, you got the high school summer pass, which means you get to work out all summer long for free. I was just talking to my boy's son, Jimmy Ballou. Shout out to Jimmy Ballou. I was talking to Braylon Ballou, who plays for Wall Lake Northern. Went to his game yesterday. Guess what? He's using the Planet Fitness Summer Pass, man. He's working out. He's getting in shape. He's getting ready for a sophomore year. You should be doing the same, man. Mental health is just as important, if not more important, than physical health. So we want to get you out the house. We want to get you away from the screens. We want to get you some FaceTime with the gym, man. And it's a gym that there's no judgment. It's squeaky clean. This is the gym for you. If you're not in high school, it's still a gym for you because it has fitness that fits into your budget. Not trying to hit you over the head. Not trying to take an arm and a leg for the membership. And memberships come with trainers. The gyms are clean. There's no judgment. What are you waiting for? Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Bars. I caught that. Bars. I caught that, Braylon.
You peeped that?
I peeped it. I got it. Yo, and after your workout, if you're like me, I like to relax. I like to sit back and get in a sauna and steam room. That's just because I can't afford a massage chair. But you, on the other hand, I know you're trying to up your relaxation game. Check out Massage Chair House in Bloomfield Hills, the largest massage chair showroom in the Midwest, where the top brands of massage chairs like Infinity and Osaki is located at the corner of Woodward and Long Lake Road. Experience luxury comfort with Dr. Eric Duncan. He is the wellness doc, creator of the top YouTube massage chair review channel. Check that out, man. Book a visit right now at massagechairhouse.com, or you can scan the QR code. Massage Chair House, your ticket to the ultimate recovery and relaxation.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men today. Open 7 days a week. Sit back, relax, and enjoy precision haircut, scalp massage, hot leather neck shave, and hot towel treatment from one of our talented stylists. Step up your game this season and take advantage of our $20 haircut special. Scan the QR code and get your coupon today. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, the ultimate haircut experience. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins always welcome. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Summer's heating up and Feldman's clearing space for the incoming new models. That means massive markdowns during Feldman's hot summer sale. Get a 2025 Silverado for just $189 a month, or this 2026 Equinox for just $209 a month. Inventory's moving fast, and when it's gone, it's gone. So don't sweat the search. Just get to Feldman. More locations, more inventory, more ways to save. The hot summer sale is on at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
Head to WoodwardSports.com and click on Shop. Get the latest in Detroit sports apparel and exclusive Woodward Sports gear. WoodwardSports.com can get the whole team outfitted. Love the Pistons, Red Wings, and Tigers? We got something for you, too. Shop online at WoodwardSports.com.
Let's go.
Come into work here at Woodward Sports. You walk through the Lady Jane's office. Clean, comfortable, respectful, and friendly. What better way do you want to sit in a chair and get your hair cut than that? All right? So let's be honest. Sometimes the simple stuff are the most important things in an experience when you're out there. You're spending your money. These women know what they're doing. They're respectful. They're friendly. And it's a really nice place to sit and relax. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. You walk in, you sign in, and before you know it, you're sitting in a chair, having a good conversation with a lovely lady who knows exactly what she's doing. Lady Jane's is open from 10 until 8, 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime, and by the time you leave, you're going to say to yourself, it's wicked awesome.
Let's go. We're back.
All right, back with you on the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep, Monday through Friday, 2 till 4. Make sure you engage in all our social media channels. We appreciate it very much. We were talking about the top 10 wide receivers according to executives, coaches, and some scouts in the National Football League. You can see it here. Jamar Chase is 1, Justin Jefferson 2. I don't think there's much of an argument there.
So you can get
okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So 1 and 2, I don't think there's much of an argument. If you want to swap them, I don't think anyone's going to. Tyreek Hill's the one at 3 that I had a hard time getting by. What's your take on Tyreek Hill?
First two are fine. Just to preface the first two, I always was a Jamar Chase over Justin Jefferson guy just by a little bit. I think he's a better wide receiver. I actually think he's a better football player than Justin Jefferson. And when Joe Burrow came out and made the comments before the draft, he said Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver I played with. I didn't take that lightly like a lot of people did. Like, oh, it's semantics. He just wants to get his boy. Quarterbacks have to put the reputation and name on things, and he's played with that guy and those two together for 2-3 years. He's not going to say something just to say it. When he said Jamar Chase was the best, last year the Triple Crown, you saw what he meant. And
what makes him better than Justin Jefferson?
He's a football player. Justin Jefferson runs great routes. He'll catch whatever's up there, but Jamar Chase is a football player. I can watch him through the lens of film and see he knows what's happening in the flow of the game. He knows where to be. He knows when to cut his route a little bit short. He knows when to evade. He blocks when he has to. When he gets upset, he still dials into the game. Like a lot of receivers, me included sometimes, you get upset, you get wiry, it messes with your game. When he gets upset, it actually makes him better because every time he's talked stuff after a game, what has he done next game? 234 yards 2 years ago, 199 yards last year. He doesn't play about his game. He's just like that. I trust him more than any receiver in the NFL.
If I said to you, he with Joe Burrow compared to Justin Jefferson with Sam Darnold, this year J.J. McCarthy, who we liked coming out of Michigan, but we don't know what he's like in the NFL. How much of a factor does that play into your decision?
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't? Okay.
Jamar's still going to be open. He's still going to catch the ball. He still makes plays.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. You'll see games of Justin Jefferson where, like, he gets shut down. Oh, we saw that here.
Yeah.
We saw that here. Our own Amik
Shout out
Robinson.
to Amik Robinson.
I love Amik Robinson. Like, Jamar Chase is not going to let Amik Robinson shut him down.
Gotcha.
He won't let it happen. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, things like that, that's how I judge.
Okay.
Like, you won't see that out of Randy Moss or Randy when he played. You wouldn't see that out of Jerry Rice when he played. They're not letting certain things happen. Tyreek Hill, I've never been – when people were ranking him the last 5-6 years, he's never been number one to me. He's never been number two to me. He's never been three.
Wow.
He was an extremely fast wide receiver that has gotten much better at the wide receiver position over the last 3-4 years, but he is a scheme wide receiver. Look what happens when they find he was with Andy Reid, and he was amazing. They were just putting him in spots. He was Patrick Mahomes. He gets to the Dolphins, and they scheme for him. Like, you're talking about one of the greatest minds ever in Andy Reid, and now Mike McDaniel, who was great for the first season when they don't have film on you. But when they do have film on you, it looks a little bit different. I don't like him at 3. I think he's lower, in my opinion.
Okay. I would agree with that, not to the extent in which you said, because you broke it down beautifully. I think he's a slot receiver. I'm a little bit more partial to big wideouts who go outside the numbers and can go across the middle. Obviously, his speed is what separates him from a lot of people. I don't think it's his route running or his hands.
He's not better than Amon-Ra St. Brown as a wide receiver. Like, if you give me the choice, I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown over Tyreek Hill as a wide receiver, 1,000%. It's the total of the game.
Hey,
Amon-Ra's going to know the offense better than the quarterback knows it. He's going to know where to be. He's going to block not only when he needs to all the time, he's also going to be able to get his guys going. And, oh, by the way, he don't drop passes.
Right.
And he knows how to make plays in the biggest moments. That's when you start to get the guys at any position to the next level. Who are you in the big moments? I don't care about when you scheme well in his first quarter, second quarter, or it was cover 3, they blitzed, you knew what time it was wide open. Who are you when it's the fourth quarter and it's 20 seconds left, or it's that pivotal drive? You know what? It's 4th and 8 and we need this. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I take him before 3.
Yeah, and he doesn't sulk. But would you have Amon-Ra St. Brown in the top 5? Where are you with CeeDee Lamb and A.J. Brown?
Amon-Ra St. Brown would be in my 5. I would take Tariq and move him to 6.
Gotcha.
I would move him to 6. I'm fine with – I would move A.J. to 3. What A.J. did in Tennessee, it made people pay attention to him, and it made the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman say, we got to get him. They got him. They paid him, and what did he do? Got them to the Super Bowl and had a hell of a playoff run, hell of a Super Bowl. What did he do the next year when Jalen Hurts couldn't figure it out? He still balled. And what did he do last year in the games he played in? He is a big-time player. I'm putting A.J. Brown 3, CeeDee 4, Amon-Ra St. Brown 5.
All right, let's go over the remainder of it because we've got Amon-Ra St. Brown 6. Malik Neighbors, after 1 year as a rookie, just 21 years old, highest ranking 4, lowest ranking unranked. Even with bad quarterbacking, he was a factor. Over 100 rocks, over 1,000 yards. Pretty damn good.
This is where it gets interesting for me. I'm now going to take Puka Nacua. He's going to be up here for me. I don't know how the hell you didn't pay attention to what Puka
I said the same thing.
I don't know how the hell you didn't pay attention. Puka Nacua, as a rookie wide receiver, almost single-handedly beat the Detroit Lions, who got to the NFC Championship game. Yeah. He was one penalty, which should have been on the Lions, but glad I'm a Lions fan, it didn't go our way. They you know what it was. Yeah. How you don't have Puka Nacua on the list is crazy. Yeah. I would have him 7, Malik 8, and that can be flip-flop because Malik, I believe in what he is. I love Nico Collins, that he's getting the recognition. Yeah. And I'm so glad that he set out that last year at Michigan. Him sitting out that last year at Michigan kind of does this for him. But I like Nico Collins there. Mike Evans, he's always going to be there for you.
He's over 1,000 yards every year.
Him and Jerry Rice. Also, too, when he plays, he plays.
Yeah.
He missed the game as soon as he comes back. 2 touchdowns, 120 yards.
Yeah.
You know, here's another touchdown. Here's another 111 yards. I like him on there. He deserves it.
I would take him at age 31 over Tyreek Hill at age 31.
Last spot is a rotating spot. Garrett's deserving of the spot. 1,000 yards, even his first 3 seasons with terrible quarterbacks or a quarterback that was coming off energy, and Aaron Rodgers. Love him. There's Brian Thomas Jr. from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think he's going to be a stud. Another LSU guy. You know how they are. Yeah. But that spot is saved for me until he hangs them up. It's saved for Devontae Adams.
And I got a question for you guys as well, man. I'm sitting here trying to figure out.
He still has the most touchdowns in the last 3 years, last 4 years, last 5 years as the wide receiver position.
I got another name, but go ahead, Kool-Aid.
You know, I was on just as we got the 6 through 10 up there on the board with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you touched on that before the break. Who had him outside of this top 10? That is kind of wild to me that his lowest ranking from execs, front office personnel, and coaches is unranked as it relates to the top 10. That to me was
same
was another
person
one.
that had Terry McLaurin past 15, which is criminal.
Yeah, somebody's got to pee in a cup for me. I agree.
That was wild.
Terry McLaurin shouldn't be past 12.
Yeah,
That's
agreed. See, he's my other guy who's in the top 10.
I mean, I wouldn't have no problem with that.
And everybody says he's kind of underrated, and I do. I believe he is. He's had 5 straight years over 1,000 yards. He's only been in the league 6 years. Yeah. Okay? And it's not like he's had this
Heineke.
I was just going to say, he hasn't had these great quarterbacks. It helps to have, Jaden Daniels a year ago. It was almost a career year for him. He's a hell of a player. I don't think he gets nearly enough recognition on what he should.
He's a bigger, slightly faster Amon-Ra St. Brown. The only thing is Amon-Ra is dialed into the game more than him for 100% of the game. That would be the only difference. I think Terry McLaurin is a great talent, but I think he'll give you 88% of the game. Amon-Ra will give you 100. He'll give you 100. I can't overlook that anymore. I did his first year. I did his second year. I tried his third, but I am an advocate of what number 14 does on the football field.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up because you're talking about effort there, and we're not always watching that stuff. I tell this to people all the time. When you're watching football, you're watching any sport, and you want to judge a player or you want to judge a coach, you can't do it if you're just doing it when the director is taking cutaways. Okay, I used to have this debate, for example, with Tommy Amaker when he was the head coach at Michigan basketball. Everybody would say, he doesn't show any emotion. I said, how do you know? Well, on TV, they never show him when has an emotion. Well, they're showing him every once in a while. Yeah. I've been at practice. Trust me. He's showing emotion. I'm not saying that's the reason you should have kept him or gotten rid of him. I'm just telling you, you can't always go by what you see on television because a lot of times it's just cutaways. You're watching these guys from a high 22 or high end zone and all 22, and you're able to see the efforts that they're putting in. I love that you're recognizing Amon-Ra St. Brown isn't just a talent in his route running and his ability to hold on to the football, but every single down he's giving you every single thing he has.
It's big moments. And let me just start talking about the moments so much. I think when I talk about effort, it gets lost. And you're like, oh, he's a shorter guy, so he's going to say effort. Remember the Minnesota game, the very first time they played them, and Minnesota was up, and they were trying to figure out how did we get back in this game. What did they do? Well, they put Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, and he scored a touchdown pass. The first time they played Green Bay last year, they played him in Green Bay. It's a rainy game. It's an ugly game. It's the infamous touchdown celebration game. But Amon-Ra St. 2 touchdowns. His 2 touchdowns that game, it changed that game because that game was ugly. It was like Green Bay. It was like the Lions. Lions had control, but it was an ugly game. He sparked the change in that game, and then he scored the game-winning touchdown or threw the game-winning touchdown. Like Houston, the Houston game, another ugly game.
Yeah.
Who throws a touchdown in that game?
Yeah.
So in the biggest moments, it's not about the effort. They're designing plays to go to Amon-Ra St. Brown or designing plays to get to Amon-Ra St. Brown to where it's ultimately going to go. I can't overlook that. And then you throw yards up there, 1,400, 1,300 last year, 14 touchdowns like the year before, 12 last year. Like, these are gaudy numbers as well. What more do you need?
How much does it hurt him from a reputation standpoint? We're way past it. But if you look at all these guys, you recognize they're pretty damn good, right? And they're high, for the most part, high draft picks. A.J. Brown was the second-round choice. How much do you think it hurts him that he was a fourth-round pick and people are still trying to figure out how that happened and admit they were wrong?
It's two things. It's that and it's the height.
The height?
It's the height.
Okay.
At that position, it's one, he was a lower round pick. He was a fourth-round pick. And then two, it's the height. If you're going to be shorter at the wide receiver position, you got to do what? You got to be number 3 on this list. Number 3 runs a 4.3. So you're able to overlook him being 5'5" or what the hell he is. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown is a shorter receiver. He's not necessarily a fast receiver. He's not jumping over people. He's not running by people. So you mix that in, and it's like, I guess we had, like, the numbers made you put him on the list. The fact that the Lions have done what they've done over the last 3 years, including that 9 and 8 year, it puts him on the list. So they don't want to, but he's forced himself on the list.
That's a great point. He's the one who forced their decision to a certain extent. I used to have a lot of long conversations with Ken Holland when he was the general manager for the Red Wings.
Shout out to
here in Detroit. Yeah, really good dude. And I remember asking him about a college goalie one time, or a college player. Andy Mealy was the Hobie Baker winner at the University of Miami, Ohio. Okay. And he's from Grosse Pointe.
Shout out to the Red Hawks.
But he's 5'7", okay? He was not drafted. He had a teammate by the name of Justin Vive, who was 6'5", the son of Rick Vive, who played for Toronto. And he, I think, was like a second or a third-round pick. And I said, how does that happen? And Ken Holland's comment to me was a good one. He said, because when you're little, you have to prove you can. When you're big, you have to prove you can't. And I thought that was really interesting in the minds of scouts and coaches and things of that nature. When you're little, you have to prove you can, thus the chip on the shoulder of many little guys. Yeah. And when you're big, you have to prove you can't. In other words, I'll take the big guy until he shows me that he can't do it. It's a really interesting way to look at it. And perhaps that was the case with Amon-Ra St. Brown, fair or unfair.
Is that how Will Levis got drafted?
What were people enamored with that?
Oh, his height, his size,
his arm. Yeah. His arm. He could throw it through a brick wall. So could Jeff George. So could Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, I remember that draft.
So a lot of those guys can. You get caught up in one thing. I'm not saying I'm a scout here, but you get caught up in one thing, and oftentimes you forgot some of the other basic things.
The biggest thing they should pay attention to is film. I feel like in this new era where everybody wants they want the tests, they want the results, they want the times, they want the stats, they want that. They forget to watch the film. You watch the film, a lot of times you can start to not pay attention to some of the stuff because it doesn't matter in a good and bad way. Sometimes a player is much better than the numbers, and sometimes a player is nowhere near as good as he tests.
And it sounds simple, but when you hear Brad Holmes speak about his process with the draft and identifying talent, that's what he says. He says a lot of people get enamored with the combine numbers, they get enamored with the measurables, but he says, I just put on the tape. Yeah. Even if the measurables or the speed or the this or the that say that this guy might not have elite NFL or NFL speed or NFL twitch or NFL this, he's like, I see who this guy is when he puts on the pads. And I remember he used that when he was talking about Brian Branch. And so to see that, to hear that from you, Bray,
Did you?
I've got some ball knowers on this show.
I think PFF, we haven't been doing a list thing, but they were talking about the best safeties and breaking the safeties down, and it was interesting. A lot of sites, a lot of lists, as you see we're doing now. They have Brian Branch ahead of Kirby Joseph, and not just that, they got Brian Branch as the second best safety in the NFL.
Do you remember behind whom?
Yeah, of course. The guy that, shout out to Easy, because Easy wanted this guy. Easy said this guy, I told him he was slow, he was too big. I said his hips, they're too stiff. Kyle Hamilton's the number one safety.
Thought he was great at Notre Dame, too.
Easy called that from day one. He wanted him out of Notre Dame. I said, hell no. But it's Kyle Hamilton and Brian Branch, which I'm here for.
Hey, you're not lying on the Kyle Hamilton one.
Yeah,
We
he's
saw
a
some of those lists.
monster.
That's the one we don't even we start with number 2 on down and then see who else. And I do believe it's dope to see the Lions. Just talking about the safeties and the defensive backs on the other side of the wide receivers. It's cool to see them have that recognition. 2 of those safeties in the top 5, man.
Yeah, and shout out to Notre Dame for having guys like Harrison Smith and Kyle Hamilton for churning out 2 guys who are really, really strong at their positions. So good stuff there. You wonder if the Lions have convinced enough people to think that they should be the favorites. There is a website out there that says no. Okay, I think we got to hit a break here. Do we not, Kool-Aid?
We're gonna hear from socials
Let's
from one
let's
Mr.
do that.
Ricky in
Let's
the
hear
sound
from some socials, and when we come back, somebody who's not as enamored with the Detroit Lions as we are.
Yeah, man, I'm not excited for that. I'm not gonna lie. Stay connected to Woodward Sports on all social platforms. Follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, along with YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok for the latest sports news, live updates, and that behind-the-scenes action. Don't miss out. Hit that follow button right now. Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. We own all of them. Be a part of Detroit's #1 digital sports network. That is at Woodward Sports on all of them. At Woodward Sports. Follow us right now. We'll be right back.
Why do we fight? We fight to protect the innocent, to hold the powerful accountable, to bring the oppressors to justice. Why do we fight? We fight to secure and preserve our civil liberties, to get each and every one of our clients the justice they deserve, and to make the lives of real people just like you whole again. ThenFights.com.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Armani and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you. The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
All right, back with you on the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep. Glad you're with us here on a rainy Wednesday. I think we all feel really good about the Detroit Lions and where they're headed. I say this all the time, in Brad Holmes we trust. I think we've got one of the best general managers in football. You've got one of the best coaches in football. You've got one of the best wide receivers in football. You've got one of the best running backs, quarterbacks, offensive linemen, 2 safeties,
every position,
corners. You're covered in a lot of different areas.
When's the last time that's happened? Not to cut you. When's the last time that happened? Every single position.
For the Lions?
Yes.
Never.
I appreciate that.
Never.
So
appreciate that.
Here's the only thing I could think of is early in my broadcasting career covering the Lions, Benny Blades was one of the best safeties.
Very.
Chris Spielman, without a doubt, one of the best linebackers. Love Chris Spielman. Jerry Ball, Robert Porcher, pretty damn good up front there. Lomas and Kevin Glover, pretty damn good. Barry Sanders, Herman Moore. Pretty complete.
Yeah.
Okay. Not total. Not as good as this team, but pretty complete.
True.
Nothing like what this team's got going for it and the role that it's on. But there are some doubters, and that's okay. And not everybody has to agree. Not everybody has to believe they should be the favorite. My problem is there are some people out there, like The Athletic wrote about this, and I give them a lot of credit, and I'm glad they write these things because it gives us good discussion.
Yeah.
It gives us ways to bring in different ideas and different opinions. They came out with 5 overrated teams and 4 underrated teams. All right? So I want to know from you guys and anybody out there, who do you think's overrated going into the NFL season? It's based on a year ago. Obviously, by talking about this, the Lions are one of those teams. They are considered overrated by The Athletic. And why do you think that is?
It's crazy.
Why do you think it is?
I'm laughing. Oh, why do I think it is? Next person. I was laughing because I was thinking of the Chargers, and I looked over and they had the Chargers as the first jersey, so I threw me off.
One of the reasons is because of the coordinators.
They've
lost the two coordinators.
I was going to say Departures and the head coach. Departures, head coach.
I was gonna say that's been what we've heard everybody talk about, whether it be like the national people, even people at home. People are starting to say, you know what? Do we got to pay a little bit more attention to the fact that we've lost those coordinators? But I put a lot of faith in who Dan Campbell has been managing this situation, no matter who the coordinators have been. But you're right.
Yeah, they've also brought up the fact that they've lost, the two offensive linemen, which I think is a bigger deal than the coordinators.
I agree.
Braylon may disagree with that. But Detroit is one of – who else do you think would be considered overrated coming into the NFL
think Detroit's
season?
overrated?
No, I don't. I don't think Detroit's overrated at all. I think they're going to be a really good football team. They're not going 15-2 because I think it's one of the hardest schedules I've ever seen in football. I just can't get over to play the teams that they've got, especially on the road. It's going to be the ultimate challenge, and that's what I love about Dan Campbell's attitude is the fact that, you know what, I don't care. We got to play these guys. That's the schedule. Let's not worry about it. Who gives a crap? I'm going to play them 1 week at a time. It's interesting. When a football coach says that, everyone goes, oh, God, give me a break. A.J. Hinch says, yeah, way to go, A.J., you're right. Play one game at a time. Dan Campbell wants to take it slowly as we go. We'll start with Green Bay. We'll worry about the Bears later.
That's because people see 160 or 168. People see 168, 162, and they can take it one game at a time. You see 17, it's like, no.
Because they can get away from you fast, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I agree with you, but that's why they think that. I think they're overrated, but I don't think they'll under-deliver, if that makes sense. I don't want to double talk. I think they're overrated in the sense that when you take into account everything that's happened to this Detroit Lions team, and yes, people are coming back, but also add that they're coming back from injuries. Are they going to be the same as they were? They're losing coordinators. They didn't just lose coordinators. They lost coaches with those coordinators. That's a part of the identity that you have. Now you bring in some new coordinators. Now you bring in new players. The offensive lineman that you're replacing Zeitler with is not as good as Kevin Zeitler. The center right now that you're replacing is not nearly good as what Frank Ragnow is. So there are some real concerns. So thinking that they are, this Super Bowl team is overrated. However, I can't name but maybe two teams better than NFC, and they still have that same chance, I believe, to win the Super Bowl. So I think they won't underdeliver, but they could be perceived as overrated.
A lot of people in the chat saying Lions are not overrated. The coordinators were overrated, somebody said. The key offensive and defensive players are still there. This is the NFL. Agree the O-line is a bigger deal, but I think they'll be fine by mid-season. We've got 17 games to figure it out. Oh, I love this one. He says Mike Kofor was awesome, too. You're right about that. Mike Kofor was so lean. Yeah. He was so good. You could literally see his hamstrings when he was in his shorts. He was unbelievable, number 55 off the edge. Just couldn't stay healthy. So really good one. I appreciate that. I wouldn't say you got 17 games to figure it out, because if you get behind the 8 ball too early, all you got to look at Cincinnati last year, then you're in trouble. And let's face it, the division's good. Okay? The division's going to be really good. Yeah. It's going to be hard to really. That's why 15-2, undefeated on the road, undefeated in the division, that's fairy tale land stuff. I just don't see how that can happen. Doesn't mean they can't have a good season. But they are considered overrated. Who else do you think is considered overrated?
Chargers were the first team that came to my mind.
Okay.
Underrated.
Wow. Chargers as overrated?
Overrated.
Oh, wow.
Overrated.
Wow.
Who's overrated?
I don't know if they can even be considered. I don't know where people see them, but I was going to say maybe
I think the Bills are overrated.
The Steelers and the Ravens is kind of where I'm at right now as well.
Okay.
I think the Bills.
That's interesting.
I think the Bills are overrated. I think the Packers are. Let me stay away from our division. I think the Bears are overrated. I think the Bills are overrated.
Okay, they agree with you. They say the Bills are overrated. They say, to Ricky's point, San Francisco is overrated, which is interesting because they've got a top 10 coach in Kyle Shanahan.
That's wild.
And they just spent $265 million on a quarterback. They did get rid of Deebo Samuel. I think they'll miss Drake Greenlaw, who I really like. I think he's awesome if he can stay healthy. And they say Cincinnati is overrated, which is interesting because it's a team that didn't make the playoffs a year ago. I think a lot of people feel until they lock up Trey Hendrickson, until they get better defensively and prove it, that they're going to be roughly a 500 football team. So I don't see how they can be under or overrated. Here's the underrated teams. And this isn't the Bible. I'm just giving you, something that they put together. The Chargers are underrated.
That's wild.
It's a team that won 11 games a year ago. Okay. I think they got a quarterback who's got something to prove this year, as we pointed out yesterday. The Cowboys are underrated, according to this website. That makes me throw up in my mouth. Yeah.
That's interesting.
The Arizona Cardinals are underrated, and Jacksonville is underrated.
Jacksonville?
Kool-Aid just gave me a look, like Tom Cruise. I'm serious. He just gave me a look like Tom Cruise was in the same booth as Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah. Bro, look, you got to understand, too, because I'm looking at this stuff, trying to make sure we can get the clips for the show. I just didn't read down that far. Jacksonville as underrated? Yeah. That's a pretty wild one to me, considering I don't really expect much from Jacksonville. Even when I've heard of the myth of expectations, they just always seem to fall flat. I don't get that one.
I don't get it either, especially when you fire your coach, you win, four games. And this is not fair to them that I use this as an example. I'll be the first to admit that right away. You got a rookie head coach this year who didn't leave his last job in a very professional manner, in Liam Cohen, who left Tampa, where he was the OC. And you've got a general manager there who's 34 years young. Their GM's 34. Now, why do I bring age into it? Why should that matter? I suppose it really shouldn't. I just don't see how they can be underrated. It's a team, sure, they've got Trevor Lawrence. They got Travis Hunter. Good for them. They've made some acquisitions. Nothing that makes me go, look out, AFC South. Jacksonville's coming. Very strange.
Please stop putting Jacksonville on list. Please stop putting Trevor Lawrence on list.
Right.
The only individual down there that you should be paying attention to is on the defense side, he's gone currently, and that was Burns. But I just don't know what every year. Brian Thomas Jr. is the only bright spot. Look, Trevor Lawrence, coach after coach after coach, you're trying to figure it out. He just doesn't necessarily fit the starting bill. He does not fit the number one overall bill. He had his one. Win in the playoffs. He came back. He beat Justin Herbert. Congratulations, another guy we're trying to figure out what he is. I don't know what to make of Mr. Khan's team down there. I don't know what they are. They just don't get it year after year. And you're waiting for Travis Etienne to do what he did at Clemson. Yet here's another ankle injury. Here's another situation.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you got replaced at the running back. They now have another running back that's ahead of them. So I just don't trust them. I don't know what to make. This list, that's a lazy list. Like, that seems like Trevor Lawrence is the number one formerly overall quarterback. He, at some point, has to figure it out, right? I mean, he got $250 million. He's got to figure it out. Let's add him to the list and say this is an underrated team in hopes that they have a good year in the AFC South, which is winnable potentially. And then I'm right. I don't think they're underrated. I don't think they're overrated. I just think they're irrelevant.
And that might be even worse, right?
Yeah.
If you're irrelevant. I think they play in the worst division in football.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I don't see how anybody – I don't know where anybody – when you talk about the NFL and you talk about the best teams in the NFL or anybody, to your point, who is relevant or significant, Jacksonville doesn't come to anybody's mind outside of Jacksonville, Florida, and perhaps even in that city itself.
I will say the underrated part of the Arizona Cardinals.
I don't get that.
I would put $5 investment in that.
Because I would take that $5. I think because they just laud Kyler Murray, and I think he's way overrated.
I can agree with that, but I appreciate the fact that now his teammates, whatever this means, they like him. They talk about him. They're enamored in what he can bring. They have conversations about what they've done in the offseason to prepare. Like, this wasn't conversation that you were hearing about Kyler Murray. All you heard about him, he plays a lot of video games, and he's a ridiculous athlete that may not know the playbook.
Right.
That's what you heard for a while.
That's a problem with your quarterback.
It's a major problem. You sit at the end of the bench. I still remember the playoff game. Nobody could talk to him. He wouldn't talk to anybody. It was a very weird sight, taking the sight in, that is. But when the team rallies around you, people and things can change. And so I will put a $5 metaphorical investment in, that changing down there for them. But other than that, this list is
it's kind of an odd list.
You know what it is? It sucks. It feels like everybody is where they are in the NFL. I don't believe there's overrated and underrated. I believe people are kind of, with the exception of the Bills, I believe people are where they are. The good teams are the good teams, the bad teams are the bad teams, and the other ones you're trying to figure it out.
Speaking of that with Trevor Lawrence, did you think he'd be the real deal out of Clemson? I did. I'm not afraid to admit I'm wrong. I thought he would be the guy.
I I don't want to come up here and tell a bold-faced lie, but I was always conflicted. Like, I feel like he came into a ridiculous situation at Clemson that was still a well-oiled machine, and they got rid of the interim quarterback, Kelly, whatever his name was. They got rid of him after a season. They brought Trevor in. He still had top 5 defense. He still had all these weapons. I mean, his receivers are still in the league, and he had a lot of athletic talent and ability. I think
and big
they
arm.
made the most of it. He had a big arm. He could run. He caught some people off guard, including Ohio State. So, yes, like, that was cool. But how many times have we seen that at Alabama?
Buying it. Doesn't sound like you're buying it.
How many times have we seen that at Alabama with quarterbacks? How many times have we seen that in other places where you're like, okay, well, what's this going to look like?
Yeah, not of that stature. I think when you're tall and have a big arm, people have a tendency to fall in love with that drop-back quarterback who has some athleticism.
Can you lead, though? And I think
it's a great question.
He didn't have to lead at Clemson because Dabo Swinney is the leader. And when it wasn't Dabo Swinney, it was the defense. And it was Deshaun Watson. He came into a situation he didn't have to lead. The freaking Hunter Renfrow was the leader of the offense. You know, shout out to Hunter Renfrow. First time his name ever got mentioned on here. We're joking. He had a hell of a career, too. That was season 2 years ago with the Raiders. But he didn't have to lead.
Yeah.
And I think you get in a situation where you know who was his first coach, and that S showed that was it's
an interesting take on an interesting situation. How much of a daredevil are you? When we come back, we will discuss maybe some of the wild things you've done to test your physicality and your physical ability besides playing in the NFL. We'll get to that when we come back after this on Woodward Sports and the Braylon Edwards Show with Shep.
Hey, got to tell you guys about merch, and you already know we're going to definitely have a lot of like goals going on. So as this show goes on, you guys continue to hit that like goal day in, day out, and somebody's going to walk away with some merch. But if you don't want to wait for the giveaway, then you guys already know where to go, and that's woodwardsports.com. Are you tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag. Check out Woodward Sports' latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Hoodies, tees, and the hats that are guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com and click shop. woodwardsports.com. That's right.
How do people feel about getting a Planet Fitness membership for $15 a month? How do they like working out in a clean and spacious gym that's filled with equipment for every workout? And how about free fitness training in the judgment-free zone that leaves them feeling energized all day long? Join Planet Fitness today with the free PF app online or in club and start getting that big fitness energy for $15 a month.
Big injuries, big news. Twice a week, Dr. Jeff Pierce from Michigan Sports and Spine joins Woodward Sports Network for the Injury Insider Report. Big D Energy Tuesdays at noon, and Armani and Edwards with Maz Thursdays at 3:30. Get expert analysis and in-depth breakdowns on the latest sports injuries from the man trusted by top athletes in the community, like D-Mac. Whether it's the Lions, Pistons, Tigers, or Red Wings, Dr. Pierce talks us through it all. Don't miss the Injury Insider Report with Dr. Jeff Pierce, your go-to source for understanding the impact of injuries on the games and players we love. Only on Woodward Sports Network. Scan the QR code on the screen or go to MichiganSportsandSpine.com to see if Dr. Jeff Pierce can help you.
Anytime you play in the National Football League, like the man who owns this show, Braylon Edwards, does, you know you had to go through. Well, it is your name on the show.
Okay.
You know you've had to go through something. All right, so you've had to challenge your body and your mind, more importantly. Like, I respect athletes to the utmost, but I think I respect them more emotionally than I do physically, because what they have to deal with, on the field of play, what they have to know, be able to forget more than anything else. Like, cornerbacks and goalies and relievers are unbelievable to me because they're getting burned. Somebody's hitting a homer off you, somebody's scoring a goal line, and somebody's beating you deep. Yeah. But you got to forget about that right away. So I really respect that aspect of athletes probably more than I respect.
I had to put up the Braylon Edwards. I saw your college football 2004 preview. I had to get it up there before the end of the show.
Right there. Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah, that is. What did you say? It's fly.
I said it's fire.
It's fire. I was going to say fly, but I'll take a different F word. It is fire.
It is fire.
Half my life ago.
So with that said, what's outside of football, getting ready for football or track? What's the most demanding thing you've ever done?
Ooh.
So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
This is a small one while you think about it, because I'm throwing you into the fire, Ricky. A different way to use the word. Okay. I did a triathlon once. Okay, took a lot out of me. All I cared about was finishing. Did really well in the water. Sucked on the bike. Terrible in the run, but I finished. All right. Should have trained longer for it, but I really enjoyed it. That's a challenge.
Yeah.
What's something you've done outside of getting ready for football or track meet where you trained your entire life for that has challenged you physically and mentally?
I don't think I've ever tried anything outside of that because I didn't want to do anything outside of that, if I'm being honest. Like, shit, football is enough. Like, the work that I had to put into at Michigan and running the stadium stairs and all that craziness to be able to get to that point, and then you get into the NFL, and now I'm down at the University of Miami, and I'm training in the sand with Andrew Swayze, who was the head strength and conditioning coach at the U. When they were winning, he was the guy. I trained with him. That stuff is crazy. So, like, to finish that and to say I want to run a marathon, never crossed my mind. I want to do a triathlon, never crossed my mind. Like, I had people trying to tell me, let's do a Tough Mudder. Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy doing any of that craziness that I don't get paid for.
Yeah,
It's
that
not
Mudder
my
is
thing.
tough. How about you guys? Anything?
I never thought about that, but yeah,
I'm
from that
good.
perspective. I would say probably picking up golf late in life. That was tough. That was hard.
Ricky's talking about picking up a sport where you sit in a cart, go hit it, and walk 5 more feet.
It's humbling. You said mental. You said mental. You said mental. It's
Good
hard.
point.
It's
That's
very
a good
humbling.
point. Yeah.
I tell anybody who started trying, I'm thinking about getting into golf. I'm like, hey, just let you know, man.
Yeah.
It's nothing like any other sport you've ever
Yeah,
played.
you're
and
right.
You're going to be bad, and you don't understand what that means until you get out there.
I love that.
And you
You're
hit
right.
a great shot.
Yeah.
And then you miss the next one.
In fairness though, Shep, to your question, I tore my ACL my rookie year. I tore my meniscus year 7, which is still messed up. I appreciate that, 49ers. So it's for me, it's that. Like,
Okay.
I try to stay away from putting myself in situations where, because if my knee snaps, I look at it as just my fault. Like, if I pop my Achilles at 42 trying to be, I don't want to do any of that. So
Yeah, you're thinking what Scotty Scheffler said, what's the point?
I'm thinking too smart.
Here's the reason I bring it up. We remember Jimmy Graham, right?
Oh,
He was the tight end, all right?
Speaking of you.
Yeah, speaking of the U. Good transition. Jimmy Graham and 3 other people rowed across the Arctic Ocean.
Nope.
They rowed 584 nautical miles in 10 days.
Dang.
They didn't sail it. They didn't stick a motor on the back end of their boat. They rowed it. You talk about somebody who has to be in pretty damn good shape. Those 4 individuals have to be in incredible shape to row across the ocean, not a lake. We're not talking about going out to Orchard Lake and saying, hey, Braylon, how about you and I getting in a 2-man canoe and row it across the lake? Yeah. No, this is deep right here. That's amazing to me.
That's pretty crazy, man. I listen, that type of stuff, I don't even know if I should even enter my name in it and make an embarrassment of myself, but when I was in high school, man, just to kind of piggyback on that to answer the question, when I was in high school, basketball my thing. I was making the papers and all that. Shout out to Summit Academy. They're doing their thing now. My senior year, though, they were like, hey, you should try out for baseball. We really want you on the team. Bro, I'm a competitor. And up to that point, things that I tried, even hockey, I was good at. Baseball, bro, to start the year, you talk about an 0 for streak. I was embarrassed, but they told me, look, man, this is a sport. You're new to it. Keep with it. But it was like, in terms of sports, one of the most challenging things was to hit the ball. Like, I led the league in steals, but hitting that ball was probably one of the most difficult things I've done to this.
Well, you had to get on base to steal a base, so you must have been doing something right.
He was throwing his body in front of the pitch. He was getting hit by pitches. No, I'm joking.
That happened a couple times.
But even with the Jimmy Graham stuff, and shout out to Jimmy Graham, he was one of the guys I trained with when I was training with Andrew Swayze. He played basketball at the U, but that stuff is stupid to me. That stuff is crazy.
Yeah,
like
well,
I respect it, but I'm not putting myself on the line to potentially die just to go out there and tell somebody, hey, you know I rode 500 nautical miles across the Arctic with my homeboys. Yeah, but you also risk the chance of dying. I'm not doing that. Like that Ironman triathlon that they did.
Yeah.
So much respect for that. That's the craziest thing ever, to put yourself in physical mind shape to be able to do that. I tell you what, like I can never do it. I give you all the credit in the world. Foolish. I'm not about to drown. I'm not about to. I can't do it. It's too much.
Yeah. Just keep in mind when you're doing those types of, Ironmans. That's big. I couldn't do an Ironman. But if you're doing the other thing that I accomplished, it's just a lake. It's a local lake, man. He's rowing in the Arctic Ocean where sharks are sometimes swimming near you to eat you.
Yeah, but Braylon had to go across the middle with a 200-pound safety
Scaring
bearing down on him. I'm not gonna lie, that may be a little worse.
I just look at those two. I was talking to a guy when I was where the heck was I? I was at some golf outing recently, and he was talking about it was when I was out in Bandon Dunes. Shout out to Jamie Farmer. Played for the UCLA back in the day, played in the league. But they went down to the Arctic. The only way to get down is like 2 ways to get to the Arctic. You got to fly down to Argentina, and then once you fly down to Argentina, then from Argentina you take a small plane in, but it's got to be at a certain time. You can only fly in at a certain time. You can land at a certain spot. It's like it almost hit or misses a bunch of times. Like the fact that the process to get to this space, just to get there, is that hard.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
That tells me I'm good.
What happens if something goes awry? What does that rescue process look like?
I know. And you know what? Nature doesn't matter that you played in the NFL for a long time. Okay, it just doesn't matter. Sharks don't care. Oh, sorry, Jimmy Graham, you played for the Saints and whomever else. I'm not gonna come up and eat you. Bullcrap. Your legs is tasty as mine. Good stuff, guys. Always appreciate it. We thank you, and we thank for all of you folks for tapping in and listening to the Braylon Edwards Show. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 to 4 here on Woodward Sports Network. Don't forget to follow us on all our socials. Thanks to all our sponsors, and we will see you on Thursday. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, everybody.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.